Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Six Nations, already up to round two. Now, round one had a few hectic type of matches. We saw an upset where the Italians were able to get themselves to win over Scotland. We saw a pretty dominating performance from the French up against Ireland, but now Ireland play Italy in this contest. It is a really interesting and intriguing type of matchup. We'll wait to see who does come out on top here. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Irish, it is Jeremy Luckman, Dan Sheehan and Thomas Clarkson as the front row. Joe McCarthy and James Ryan in the locking duo. So Tyke Byrne, instead of starting, he will be making his way off for the bench. Cormac is a Chuckbu who gets the big opportunity at number 6. Doris once again playing in the 7 jersey for this matchup. And Jack Conan, he is there as the number 8. Craig Casey comes in as the number 9 with Sam Prendergast at 10. That man has been under huge amounts of pressure all throughout the week. James Lowe returns out on the left wing. Stuart McCluskey in the midfield, this time partnering with Gary Ringrose. And then Robert Balakoon out on the other wing with Jamie Osborne at number 15. For the Italian side, they have gone very limited in terms of the changes that they have decided to make. Daniela Fischetti, Nicotera and Ferrari will stay as the front row. Canoni and Zabonin as the locks, with Lamaro, Zuliani and Canoni as the loose forward trio. So an unchanged four back completely for the Italians, and the team that were able to get themselves the win over Scotland. Alejandro Fusco will start at 9 with Garbisi once again at 10. Montiuani out on the left wing. Leonardo Marin moves from 15 into 12. Tommaso Marancello moves from 12 into 13. And then Lewis Liner and Lorenzo Pani, the last man. And the starting side. So the only real change that they've got is Juan Inacio Brex out of that number 13 jersey. Manoncello fills that gap. Marin fills the gap for him. And then Pani comes in as that number 15. Do you have to have this game during the cricket game? Yeah, there is currently New Zealand versus South Africa taking place in the T20 World Cup. I have had it open for a little while, just keeping an eye on it. But this game, it is going to be must-see as well when they do go head-to-head here. The Irish, they want redemption. They are considered as quite large favourites heading into this matchup. So a big win here at the Aviva. The thing is, this Six Nations, as much as people want to say it is all coming down to France versus England, there are a couple other results that could potentially change things. You know, you look at Scotland versus England, for instance, taking place in only a couple hours' time. The Scottish have a pretty decent record up against England, so if they're able to win that game somehow, or we see France end up losing a game somewhere along their Six Nations campaign, the door is still wide open. So for Ireland here, if they want any chance of winning the Six Nations, they need to make sure they have nothing less than a bonus point victory here up against the Azzurri. But at the same time, if the Italians were somehow to make it 2 in a row, their Six Nations campaign is well and truly alive. Now, Mikel Lamaro, the captain of this Italian side, he didn't really want to talk it into existence. In the post-match interview up against the Scottish, he was asked about the goals of this side, and he said there's a pretty big one that they're looking at. And he wasn't talking about that Rugby World Cup. He was talking about this competition, the Six Nations currently. The Italians, they aren't sitting too bad because of that victory. But looking through at the way that it sits on the table currently, ladies and gentlemen, England are at the top of the bunch after a convincing win over the Welsh in round number 1. France were able to get themselves a great 5-point victory over Ireland. Once again, those bonus points could be the difference between a win and a loss in this Six Nations campaign, as we did see it be so close for last year's competition. Italy sitting in 3rd with the 4, and then a losing bonus point for Scotland. That is another point that maybe later on in the comp could be the difference between finishing, let's say, 3rd, 4th, 5th, somewhere around there, just having that little bit of an extra boost for the Scottish in that department. But these are the round 1 results. We saw France get themselves that good win in the opening contest of the Six Nations campaign. The Italians closing out what was a pretty close win over the Scottish. That game seemed like neither side found their full rhythm, but in the end, Italy wanted it more, and they managed to have a couple big moments near the end of the game to secure it. And then 48 points to 7 up against Wales. Sadly for the Welsh, it seems like those type of scorelines could be a thing of regular occurrence throughout the Six Nations campaign, but hopefully not too often. And hopefully somewhere around the lines of the midway stage, they can find some sort of victory for this Welsh team. Just watched the Andy Farrell interview. He does not rate the Italian team. He thinks this Ireland are going to destroy them, says Power Bite. Well, he's got to be confident. And at the end of the day, like, this Irish side, they will know that that game up against the French was nowhere near their full ability. They dropped the ball so often throughout that contest. But, you know, as a coach, you can take two approaches to one of those media situations. When you've got the whole media on your back trying to say that you should be sacked, you can either go out there and say, look, we're going to be up against a strong team and it might be a challenge. Or you can say, look, we're going to double down. We're going to beat these guys badly and we're going to show what we should have done the week prior. And Farrell doesn't seem like the type of guy who will stand down from a challenge from the media. He will step right up to it and, you know, now his side has to do the talking out there on the field, back him up and show exactly what they can do up against this Italian side. Plus, I think the only thing that really has hurt Italy is that consistency. It's not very often they'll have two outstanding games in a row, and perhaps that's something that Ireland know. But this looked like a bit of a new Italy from what we saw in the Six Nations campaign. They've been slowly getting stronger and stronger, and they've put themselves as a real contender in some regards for the Six Nations campaign. If today win Italy, we could see the Ireland take the wooden spoon candidate and Italy champion candidate. I mean, 2 wins from 2 for Italy would put them very nicely up in the standings. Of course, in that case, they would still have to make sure that they beat France, which at the moment seems like a very tough task for any side in the competition. OMG, Black Caps are all out. The 6th over, WTF happened, says Padza, and High All says Daryl. Third is probably the highest you can reach. England and France will be a bridge too far, says Wenmar. And yeah, the fact that those two sides play off in the final round of the competition, I quite like the fact that it's worked out that way, because it does mean that it goes right down to the wire in terms of anticipation. It'll feel like a World Cup final between those two sides in terms of the suspense for the English and the French heading into that contest. But that's still a wee way away. We've still got a few games before we get to that stage. Mr. Hamish says, JD, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Hope you are excited for this game. Let me know your score predictions, anyone who hasn't already. This game not a mile away from starting up. Of course, as soon as it does, we will be kicking off the live commentary for the Six Nations of today. There is plenty more still to come for the Six Nations campaign. We have got High All, says Stefan. Evening, Hamish, sitting in Starbucks and the Dubai Mall. Girls are watching a movie. I'm listening to Kiwi Lads commentary. Thanks again, says Joss. But yeah, hopefully it's not too hot over there at the moment. I know that there's been a few scorching days for quite a few locations. The Dubai Sevens only a few weeks ago, the players were absolutely hating the temperature that they were dealing with, but they did do relatively well in the Dubai Sevens overall. But now, we're only 7 minutes away from the start of this contest. I'm hoping to see what the weather's doing at this stage, just to see whether or not there is rain on the cards. I should be asleep, to be honest, says Padza. Yeah, it is currently 3:03 a.m. here in New Zealand. A nice early morning, late night start, depending on how you look at it. But it looks like decent weather as they do welcome the sides out there onto the field. There's that Six Nations trophy right in front. They'd have to have a few copies of that, right? Because last year we did see the French win it, but they have got it in front. Unless actually, no, that might be actually just the trophy between these two sides, in fact. I possibly have golf too. Yeah, you probably should be sleeping then if you're playing golf. In the early stages, 19 points to 15, Italy to win. Also going a very similar scoreline to what they did have in their last match up against the Scottish. Just looking here at what is to come for these two sides, as well as what just happened for the Irish side. They've lost 36 points to 14 up against the French. They're coming in as heavy favourites for this match, $1.08 in their favour. And then England versus Ireland. That is the game next week, and definitely one to keep an eye on when it does take place. For the Italians, they were able to get themselves the win over Scotland, 18 points to 15. But then next week, they've got France. So there's actually some really awesome games taking place next week. England versus Ireland is one that's normally a bit 50-50 between them. And then you've got France versus Italy, the dream of the Italians. If they somehow pull off the victory here at the Aviva, the way that they can get that Six Nations trophy would be they'd have to beat France in France, which is no easy feat whatsoever. But like I said, this Italian side, they seem determined. Very limited changes across their starting lineup. They know that this side have the ability to get the job done. Their line-breaking ability from that first match up against Scotland was a thing of beauty. And they will look to do it again in this game up against the Irish. How many games are still going to be covered this weekend? I think we've still got probably another, maybe about 3 games of the Sevens and another 1 match of the Six Nations after the end of today. Now, of course, we've still got Scotland versus England just around the corner too. Hello, Hamish, hoping Italy wins. Says Sue there. Good morning, Hamish from the USA at Forza Italia, says Patrick. It seems like, tell you what, Italy are starting to gain a bit of a fan base. I've noticed throughout the last couple of weeks, people love the underdog. Unfortunately, it hasn't rubbed off onto Wales as of yet. They get the kind of, I guess, the slightly, it's rough treatment at the moment for the Welsh, we'll be honest, but they are going up against the French, so if you want to talk about rough treatment, look at that game tomorrow at the Principality. It could be a pretty ugly one for this Welsh side currently. Just comfortable, South Africa, but playing Black Cats in the T20 at the moment. They certainly are. And at the moment, the Kiwis, they are going all right. Decent speed that they are scoring at. Although we did see Rach and Ravindra go out just recently for that contest. Yeah, looking a bit dodgy, says Padsa, in terms of the weather. What is your prediction today? Ireland by 5 or 7 points? If it was Italy 1, it would be like 3 or 4 points. If Ireland show up, it's 10 plus. You've pretty much summarised it there. If Ireland play well, they will do probably pretty decent on the score sheet for this game. If they don't manage to perform, and they do have as many handling errors as they had last week up against this French side, then you are looking at a closer game on the cards. But Italy have to start well here. Because as we've learned, their game up against Scotland, they started that match very nicely, and that seemed to be the thing that just kind of kept their momentum going all throughout the whole match. Whereas if Italy fall behind by a try or two within the first, let's say, 10 or 15 minutes, I just don't see them being able to come back. They are very much a momentum team, and if they get that momentum from the start, they can be so dangerous. But if they don't manage to get that momentum from the get-go, that's normally when the slight downfall happens for the Italians in games. We're Hamish looking for him whole day, says Mohadeen. You obviously haven't got your screen on, Mohadeen, in that case, and I wish Italy all the best. However, for me, they have little chance. Let's hope for a good, free-flowing game, says Akardis. Italy has a pretty settled team and know how they want to play, says Salah. Yeah, but I don't think they'll be able to play the same way that they did up against the Scottish last week. We've got to remember that was in wet, rainy, terrible conditions for the two sides, whereas in this contest, you've got dry conditions. So Ireland will look to run it a little bit, and also a bit of that territory game. They return the kick of James Lowe out onto the field, who is known for one of the longest boots around in international rugby. Any team that has lost to England in the last 12 months should be excluded from the World Cup, in my view, says Stephen. So what you're saying is it's just England versus South Africa World Cup then, is what you want to see. You might as well just skip to the final now. And we have got their Black Cats could have won the T20 World Cup in 2022. Says Dawny Edits, but they didn't. And we have got the Hamish, I was saying that Farrell gave it all. The Italians, Italy so strong, lip service, but his body language is anything but. Italy gave the boys a good game and beat Australia in autumn. Oh, so you're saying that he didn't badmouth Italy, but from a body language expert, people have said that he seemed like he was maybe a little bit confident going into the game. But he didn't say that they were going to beat them by a lot. We have got there, Italy did score 2 tries before Scotland. They did. They got off to a great start in that game, and it carried them over the line. They didn't score a lot of points after that, unfortunately for the Italians. And are you going to be mad if Black Cats lose to South Africa? Probably not, because I think both sides are through to the next stage anyway, the way that it's sitting. Ireland 35, Italy 15. It's my prediction, says Big Rig. And also Italy 42, Ireland 40. So an 82-point thriller in that case. If it was going to be that high scoring, which would be absolutely insane, by the way, if that is the way that it ended up working out. But now this game just about to start up between these two teams. Do let me know who you guys think will be the first try scorer of this game as well. Tyg Byrne making his way off the bench. It's an interesting choice from the Irish. They have got a few very handy players to come off of the bench for this game. You've got Jamison Gibson Park there in that number 22 jersey. Crowley at 23. There is so much pressure at the moment on Sam Prendergast to be able to perform in that Ireland number 10 jersey. For later on, England to beat Scotland by 30 points or 20, says James. That would be surprising. I know that those two sides have some very close matches, though 4 of the last 5 have been won by the Scottish. So who knows what's going to happen. And then greetings from Italy, says Giovanni. Welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well and hope you are excited for this matchup. Currently, the way that the Six Nations table sits, the Italians, they are in third and they have potential of gaining right up to that number 1 spot if they were able to get themselves a big win here. But it's going to be tough. Even theoretically, if Italy got themselves 2 bonus points from this game, they'd actually sit first place. Fun fact going into the contest between England and Scotland. Although there would be potential, of course, for the English to then get that boost up. But how often Is it that Italy sit number 1 in a Six Nations competition? I would have to say not very. So, a little bit of a chance there for Italy to have a nice little moment. Glenn Phillips got bowled out, says Dawn. And someone wants to give you a address, Hamish, says Mohuddin. We have got there, Jamie Joseph didn't say that the All Blacks coaching spot is chosen by shape-shifting lizards, but it's body language experts say, says Power Bite. Running for the Azuri boys, although realistically Ireland is likely to win this one. I guess they had a bad week last week. That doesn't matter much. This side will want a big redemption arc in terms of the Six Nations campaign, because we've got to remember what happened last year. Every side at the top of the bunch was 4 wins, 1 loss, weren't they? So in that scenario, it does mean that you still got the decent chance of being able, to boost up quite nicely and still, anything can happen in the Six Nations campaign. The match hasn't started, not quite. They are just about to get underway for this contest. These two sides are just about ready to take to the field. And it should be a very entertaining 80 minutes of rugby at the Aviva. As an Italian, a bonus point is probably a fair goal. Yeah, see, whether or not they go for the 2 bonus points, get themselves 4 or more tries in this game and within 7, that would be massive for the Italians. But realistically, if they can get within 7 of this Irish side in Ireland, I think they'd be more than happy with that performance. Although this side, like I mentioned, they do have goals. And one of them is to try and really do well in the Six Nations campaign. They've really been in a position where they can have such a strong start and potential to pretty much start their campaign on an absolute high. But this is the chance now. To be fair to Italy, there were horrible rain last week. Surely it's conditions the Scots are more used to. Then the Italian says, Big Rick, you would think so. But in front of the home crowd and the early start in that match for the Italians, it's pretty hard to beat them when they do find their rhythm. And they found it early on. They didn't have it at most of the rest of the match. To be fair to them, neither did Scotland. No one really got anything going after that first about 20 minutes or so of the game. But the Italians, they had those really good early moments. And Lewis Linar, one of the reasons for that, as well as Garbisi, his control in the number 10 jersey. Mononcello in the midfield is actually, I think, one of the better centres in the world at the moment, the way that man plays. Italy to score first from South Africa, says Albertus. Scotland used to be the team that could play in the rain back in the day. That when Scotland would win in dire weather, says James. Well, Scotland used to be the side that could play. And at the moment, the last few times that we've seen them out there on the park, it just doesn't look like that's the case anymore. There's talks of selection problems at the moment. There's talks of behind the scenes going wrong for Scotland, but they just don't quite look like the Scotland of old. But if there was ever going to be a game that they'd turn it up to get back to that Scotland, it would be up against England next. But that game's kicking off in 2 hours and 30 minutes time. This game's kicking off in 2 seconds. And now it's kicked off by the Italians. We're underway. Italy in the blue, Ireland in the green at the Aviva. In front of a decent-looking crowd as well. But Craig Casey goes away to Joe McCarthy. Already tries to pump his legs just outside of his own 22. Now rolling this one back. Craig Casey looks like he's going to be sending this one to the sky. Oh, he's also sending that one off the side of the boot by the looks of it. It's only travelled forward about 4 metres, but it's a nice take from Robert Balakoon under the high ball. As I am 45 seconds ahead, says Southkid, so be sure not to have too many spoilers if you can avoid it. Nice run from Gary Ringrose. Almost a stealing opportunity there for the Italians. Have the guy hands on the ball? No, not quite. Casey does clean that up at the back of the ruck for Ireland. Now 50 seconds in. I feel like this one's going to be a little bit more of a stoic pace for a start between these two sides. Although for Italy, their best chance is to try and make it a little bit awkward and a bit of a quick fire affair for the early stages like they did up against Scotland. I'm proud for Holly Davison, says Fran Perez, I should say. Now, kicked high from Fusco. Montijuani chasing after this one. Sam Prendergast lined up early but manages to get his pass away to Jamie Osborne. Now running this one sideways. Ireland 30 metres out from their line. Casey goes across to the captain Doris. Sam Prendergast tries a step, but he's shut down early. Onto the ball there for the Italians, just getting cleaned out in the final moment. James Ryan tackled by his opposite number, Zambanin. Here's a bit of a chant going round the Aviva as well. Gary Ringrose, he's been hit by a car, and by that I mean Simeone Ferrari has lined him up from distance and dropped the shoulder into the ribs. Now ball's there. The thing is, Gary Ringrose, he'll love that though, because he's the type of player who puts in those type of shots time and time again. And I'm sure he'll have one coming back At some stage throughout this game, James Lowe safe under the high ball. Ireland move up to 40 metres out from their line. Now passed on the outside to Robert Balakoon. Flying forward was Monty Ioane, but he misses the tackle. Balakoon moves up to the halfway line. Craig Casey off to the left. This is brilliant phase play at the moment from Ireland. In terms of any time they've had the ball, the only time that they lose it. Oh no, there we go. I just jinxed it big time. They've just lost the ball in contact. That was a bit of a commentator's curse there. Literally the next breakdown, but now Italy are in possession and chance for them to get something going wide. Cut out past to Lewis Liner. Just only touched the fingertips before going into touch. So it will be the line out throw for Ireland. And Ireland getting the better of the kicking exchanges. And I think that having James Lowe back is quite a big one for them. There's the shot from Ferrari on Ringrose. Just smacked straight into him. He almost actually ate the knee of James Lowe as well. It was quite a fortunate fall for Gary Ringrose because his head was probably about 4 inches away from connecting with Lowe's knee, and then he probably wouldn't have been continuing in this contest. Now rolling this one forward here for the Irish. Breaking off the back there. Dan Sheehan trying to rip his way through the tackle attempt of Zuliani. Oh, that was close to an interception chance, but it might be ruled as a knock-on or a deliberate knockdown here. I think it's just going to be a knock-on against Fusco, though. If he had brought that in, he probably... Oh, no, it's just gone actually straight through both hands. And I love Holly. I hope she has a good one, says so. And Prendergast doesn't look great, very shaky. They're putting pressure on him, although to be fair, Ireland at the moment, they are suffering a little bit to the rush defence of the Italians. Now, we saw some great stepping from Robert Balakoon on the far side of the field, how he shuffled around that rush defence of Monty Ioane, but I think the tactic at the moment from Italy is just kind of have no space whatsoever for the Irish to work with. And it's a good tactic if they can keep it executing, but if they rush up and leave a gap, that is when Ireland can kind of go for that counter and find themselves in a line break. Didn't look like a knock-on to me. Yeah, must have just got the fingertip to it for Fusco. Pack weights, 885 kgs for Italy, 892 kgs for the Irish, so relatively even in that regard. And first scrum, let's go. So here's Bellius there. It will be an intriguing battle. On one side, Simeone Ferrari up against Jeremy Luckman. On the other, Daniele Fischetti up against Thomas Clarkson. We got Tyke Furlong off the bench as well for the Irish in this match. A little bit more reinforcement late. If Italy win, I will eat pizza tonight, says Brian. I think even if they don't win, you should eat pizza tonight because pizza is extremely nice. If there's rush defence, usually you can kick him behind like O'Gara would kick it to the corner, says James. Yeah, so it might be something that Ireland look to use. Definitely with the amount of distance that they've got on a few of their teams' boots out there. Oh, penalty awarded to the Irish. 40 metres out from the Italian line. It is on the angle. And this is now the intriguing scenario. Do Ireland go 3 or do they go 7? They are looking straight to the corner. They had only one intention in this scenario, and that was get that ball into touch and see what happens here next. I'll try and get it inside of that 22 and right in a decent area. Pizza is good. Spaghetti bolognese is lovely too. And here we go. Whistle, whistle all game long. Says Powerbite. You really don't like it, do you, Powerbite? I've seen your last about 3 comments have just been about the referee rather than the game. We have there, long-headed, no hesitation from Ireland. They want the bonus point. And yeah, for the Six Nations campaign, I should say, they really do need it. Now Casey goes across there to the hands of, was it Chukwu? Yes, it was. Now 10 metres out from the line, almost a steal for Zuliani. Now Caitlin Norris. Injury here for one of the Italian players. That is not good news. I believe it is Zabonin looking for the pass on the outside. Big wide one. Goes to James Lowe. Stepping background liner as they sit 3 metres out from the try line now for Ireland. Craig Casey. Cross to Sam Prendergast. Thought about the wide cutout pass, but Luckman receives it short instead. Zabonin is still down. Ireland have to be strategic here because if they shovel it out to the right, more than likely they are going to stop this game due to the injury. Prendergast tries what was one of the worst kicks I have seen, but they are going to go back now for the penalty advantage. Having Bolognese, I'm watching this. What a coincidence. Italy for the win from South Africa. Says Illicit there. I have pizza in the oven now, says Stephen. An Irish Bloodhound says Roof, but they are going to be going back to check this injury of Zabonin. He stayed down for a while. I think it was his tackle that he made on James Lowe I think it might have been just the way that the shoulder landed. Prenta Kidd spooned that one. Kidd is on 2 mistakes already. Says power bite, and he looks disappointed about it too. Sam Prendergast thought that there was a little opportunity for a grubber in behind. It does deflect straight off the Italian leg. Oh, come on, another injury. It's not really what they want at this stage, this Italian team. We did see the one change in the starting lineup, Juan Inacio Brex, the player who was taken out. Right, looks like Zabanin's going to continue. He's felt that one on the shoulder, but he does want to continue playing in this game. Quick tap on the cards here for the Irish by the looks of it. They've decided that they might as well see if they can get this one going. Only a couple metres out from the line of penalty to the Italians. A bit of push and shove afterwards as well between the sides. Simeone, Ferrari. It's all kicking off now. Joe McCarthy going straight at Danilo Fischetti. As long as he doesn't do what Jasper Visa did, should be all right. Although, as we learned in the Six Nations, a headbutt does not get you suspended. It gets you not even a penalty against you. Right, that is an interesting one from Dan Sheehan. He actually went for that jump over the top. Is why he's been penalised. Sheehan tried to go flying. Yeah, it was an interesting tactic. And I have no idea why he did it. Because he's normally so dangerous just with a quick tap and a go along the ground. Like, yeah, it's just, what the hell was he trying to do? I have no idea. A man with 16 tries at international level. I don't think I've ever seen him try one like that. Now, 8 minutes into this contest, still the score is 0-0. Sheehan wanted to repeat the Lions try. Yeah, although that one looked like he gave more of a leap in this game than the Lions one. Beautiful hands of Garabisi. Sears power bite. The ball's going to be fed in by Giacomo Nicotera. Nicely taken. Away to the left-hand side. Finds the hands of Manoncello. I mention about it all the time. I think he's one of the better centres around at the moment in international rugby in terms of the way that he is able to move that ball around. Going up for the high ball. Osborne and Ioane both winning it. It looked like it was going to pop on the side of Ireland, but Italy have committed a couple more men in that breakdown. Oh no, in fact, they give it up. And Ireland will be the team to get the ball. I think Ireland have won every ball in the year so far, says Stephen. That one was probably the most competitive, to be fair. But then Ioane just giving it up at the last minute. Conan in a bit of open space. Great low tackle made by Manoncello. Now, Craig Casey crossed to Thomas Clarkson, tackled by his opposite number, Ferrari, who's been a busy man throughout the first 9 minutes. Prendergast shaped to kick, but instead will use the backline. Osborne gets through one. Balakoon wrestled down low by Monty Ioane. Now McCluskey goes quickly to the side. Another kick attempted in behind from Sam Prendergast. Straight into the hands of Paolo Garbisi. Now Ioane. Let's have that ball before he's dragged down by Osborne. Italians want to play. Says power bite. Now this one's going to be cross kick from Paolo Garbisi. Lewis Liner went up for the ball. He's managed to claim it there. Would have been a knock on had he not been able to catch it cleanly. Got it on the second grab. Mononcello going with a grubber down the wing. Tries to grubber it forward again. That's off the foot of Cormac Izichukwu. And I think this is going to be a 5-metre scrum now for the Italians here, as that should be counted as Ireland taking that one back. They need to take off Prendergast, says James. He's had a shaky start to this game, the Irish 10. I think it's tactically, though. They're just getting it wrong, Ireland. They keep on wanting to kick this ball away. But not so much long kicks, just little grubbers in behind. Oh, okay, maybe that didn't touch Cormac Izichukwu from that replay, so I believe it is actually going to be the ball for the Irish. And it's the 22 dropout. Irish crowd is too reactive and misleading. Every collision is exciting by the sound of it. At least on my TV, it's so incredible. I think they're just happy to have a game at the Aviva, to be fair. And these two sides, to be fair, hectic pace for the first 10 minutes of the contest. It's been a bit of back and forth. Italy now just starting to get themselves that little bit of possession. Now big work in the breakdown there from the Irish, and they managed to get that ball back. Now going across to the left, Prendergast with a skip pass. Oh, that's bad. And that will be a yellow card for Lewis Liner. Maybe. No, it's just called as a deliberate knockdown there from Liner. Normally you would see the yellow sometimes make its way out of the pocket, and they are actually checking this one with the TMO. No 5-metre scrum for Italy under Holly Davis since his power bite. Well, it was the right call in the end when they showed the other angle. And getting moving forward, says Ruth, and Prendergast wise, says Fran. Leonardo Marin. and are lucky not to get carded for that, although it does seem like they are still going to be checking this one, so he is not completely out of the woods just yet, Lewis Liner. I'm going to see the replay now. Okay, he stops it from going out to James Lowe. It is deliberate, and it does travel forward. They did have cover at the back, so it's one of those ones that it won't be any sort of penalty try or anything dramatic like that, but it might be a yellow card. Great commentary, Hamish, watching from England. Getting way better than ITV. Really appreciate your channel, says Brian. We've got plenty more coming, including that Scotland versus England game just around the corner that we will be covering on the channel too, and that is going to be Lewis Liner getting the yellow card now. Man, he did strike early in the game up against the Scots. Will now have 10 minutes off of the field in Italy. This is the last thing that they wanted, being down a man now at this stage of the contest. That could be pretty brutal. How many seconds are you behind? Says James, probably about 40, because I am watching on Sky Sport now. Now ready to line this one up towards the touchline for Sam Prendergast. Good afternoon, mate. I'm spending more time with you than my wife on Valentine's Day, says Fleshin. Hopefully she doesn't mind too much, and hopefully you got something planned for maybe later tonight, seeing as I think Scotland-England will finish at, I guess it's 8:40 actually. That's an awkward time for the game to finish. But maybe you guys could get like some sort of dinner beforehand. A little bit of an idea. Now thrown in, Cormac as a Chukwu takes it nicely. What can Ireland do with a man advantage now for the next 9.5 minutes? Craig Casey searching for that ball in the breakdown. Now gets it away to McCluskey with a short pop pass to, I think that is Jack Conan. They got a few numbers on this left-hand side. Ireland McCarthy, terrible pass. Goes in behind Prendergast, and it does give Italy the ball back. Now, Alejandro Fusco going across Paolo Garbisi. 4 men on the left-hand side if they keep on shifting it. Mononcello passes it to Ioane. Good hands from him. He's close to the sideline. It's a knock-on from Mononcello and just about staying in the field of play. Foot on the line from Doris, and we'll go back for another scrum. We have Gadea. If Ireland can't score with an extra men, then they really are in a slump, but I think Prendergast isn't playing well at all. Says James, he's had a few little early risks or little mistakes, I guess you could say as well, but it seems to be, I don't know whether this is the tactic from him or the tactic from Ireland, but they want to try and get a grubber going. But I don't think the grubber's the tactic, because Italy seem to be covering it every single time. I think they've got to either go for the up and unders, which they have been actually winning a majority of the time, or just hang on to the ball, go through some phases. We haven't seen too many steals and the breakdowns from the Italians yet, so until that happens, you might as well just try and starve them of possession. In South Africa, your commentary way better. Then it's more exciting. Thanks, my friend. You are doing a great job. Says Hardest, thank you very much. And yeah, we got that England-Scotland game just around the corner. So when you talk about excitement, some of those recent results between those two sides have been absolutely hectic. I know we've been married too long for that. Nonsense to take away on the way back from the pub, says Fleshin. I mean, at least it's something, right? Ireland has a 96.2 win rate against Italy in the Six Nations. Never lost to them at home, is the stat that they've just shown. So this Irish side, that's a lot of pressure to make sure that they get themselves the win here. Sam just isn't good enough, says F. Scott. Will Ireland score before the 60th minute this week? I think so. I'd be surprised if they don't score in the next 7.5 minutes. While they have got that man advantage. And the thing is, it's not just a man advantage, it's Ireland have the advantage out on the wing with no Lewis Liner. And if they can get that back line working, like I mentioned, get it out wide. That's a poor pass from Casey. Sits up for McCluskey, now looping around. Sam Prendergast, one more now to Robert Ballacoon. They are targeting the wing of Lewis Liner. James Lowe down the wing, showing a bit of pace. Almost wrestled into touch, but good strength shown. Goes to Ringrose now. Justin from the touchline. 10 metres out from the line for the Irish as they continue to get this attack starting to go. Bit of a counter-ruck there from the Italians. Have they stolen the ball? They almost have. I think Italy may have to release that one on the ground as well, but they have managed to get a brilliant steal. The only man in that breakdown was Sam Prendergast. And Ireland feel like wherever their forwards were, they weren't next to that ruck trying to protect it. Turnover says, Bow bite. What do you think about France vs Wales? I think it could be a one-sided affair in that contest, unfortunately. Italy, amazing defence, says Ruth. Now, it's going to be Alejandro Fusco going for the kick downfield and looking to clear the lines of this Italian side. We're 14.5 minutes through. This game is going quickly. And before we know it, it is going to be into that kind of 70th minute mark, and we could be looking at a close one. Brendan got counter-rucked, as you normally would if you're back in a ruck with about 3 Italian forwards trying to get over you. Like, he probably did a decent bit of work just to even be there, Sam Prendergast, because there was no one else around it. Yeah, it started off, it was a rough one for him up against Zuliani, but then as soon as that second Italian player arrived, there was no chance for Prendergast to be able to stop that counter-ruck. And Ireland does not communicate well. They get isolated too often. That's why they give away turnovers. Says so, and currently 2 turnovers, 1 for the Italians. There is a bit of a drinks break taking place at the moment. Where the forwards and then breakdown for the Irish? That's a great question, because looking at the back play, there was Ringrose, there was Robert Balakoon. I don't think there was a forward within probably about 15 metres or so. Crowley don't get counter-rucked. I'd say if Crowley had 2 Italian forwards trying to get him off the ball, they probably would win it. Definitely with the way that Italy have been going with those counter-rucking scenarios. Oh, Simone Ferrari. What's he doing there? He was having a bit of a conversation with the Irish. I think he was trying to tell them to hurry up and get the drinks off the field. Now Dan Sheehan with the line-out throw. Now that one's going to go over the top, taken by Sam Prendergast, distributes it to McCluskey. Italy, if they can keep their energy up, they can do it. And I've said it the whole way through, Italy are a momentum team. If they believe they have a chance of winning this game, they will well and truly be in it. But if Ireland can break the line a couple times and cause a few problems for this Italian defence, that is when Italy may just drop their heads. James Lowe moving into the 20-metre line once more, past the 22. Now Clarkson, back Prendergast, finds the hands of James Ryan. Oh, Craig Casey under pressure there from Mikel Lamaro. Good run forward from McCluskey, can be quite the dangerous ball runner when he straightens. Prendergast goes across the Ringrose, tries to sell the dummy on the outside. Again, the Italian rush defence is working nicely up against Ireland for now. Prendergast with the ball on the inside to James Ryan. Another thing, I think Prendergast is playing too flat. Yeah, there's not a lot of time for him to get something going, is there? Old Jack Conan thought about the offload on the outside to Robert Balakoon. But again, it is good defence from the Italians. 4.5 minutes remaining. That looked close to forward from Doris to Clarkson. Now 12 metres out for the big tight head prop. Craig Casey goes to Prendergast. He thought about kicking once more, but instead passes. It works out. Beautiful offload from McCluskey. That is world class. And Jamie Osborne scores the try for Ireland. And the first of the game. It took nowhere near as long as it did up against the French here at the Aviva. The man advantage, Osborne running the perfect supporting line, and McCluskey, the distribution. He was facing backwards when he passed that one across. That is the last thing that Italy needed now. We see it there, McCluskey. He spins out of the tackle with Zuliani and then just flicks it off to Jamie Osborne, who runs it in. Go Ireland, says Fran. And Hamish, we will be riveted. 3 minutes left on the card. Italy held out for 6 minutes. Says power bite. But yeah, the thing is, 3.5 minutes is still a long time though. So they have to hold out for this next period, or else, you know, if they have the man coming back, missed kick straight out in front of the post from Sam Prendergast. So that is going to keep the score at 5 points to 0. I think in the second half, get Prendergast off. He's not performing. So here's James. Yeah, it's a beautiful pass from McCluskey. Just seemed like he had all the time in the world. Italy's one man down. However, playing so much in its own half is not sustainable. Exactly. The more that Ireland get on the attack throughout this 80 minutes, the slower the Italians will be. Andy Farrell, big celebration there. What a ball is the comment from the coach in the box. And come on, Italy, hit right back. Hello from Ireland, Pedro O'Brien here. How you doing, lads? Respect to you, lads. Welcome in. You've changed your name by the looks of it, unless you are on a different account, maybe. Now, this one's going to be kicked up high. Nicely taken from Ireland inside of their 22. Big driving tackle from Montejuani. Bit of a counter ruck here from the Italians as well, but it doesn't quite sit up for them. Sam Prendergast now kicking it downfield. It's a decent clearance too, getting rid of that ball under pressure. It's going to be about 25 metres out from the Irish line. Uncle, did kick miss? It did, yes. But now, chance here, currently possession 75%, the way that it sits at the moment. And Lewis Liner, he's about 2 minutes away from making his way on. Great pressure, says Bellius. Yeah, it's just showing that little bit of the extra mindset of the Italians, going aggressive from the get-go, thinking that maybe there was a chance of a counter-ruck. So obviously they've seen something here for Ireland that involves them being a little bit slow getting into those breakdowns. There's an advantage now in favour of the Italians, and the penalty is awarded. I'd rather do a watch-along for the Proteas. Says Sash there. Now we have got there, Italy can really target Prendergast with the rush defence. Says Bellius. Currently 19.5 minutes into this contest. That is beautifully taken by Zabanin initially. This is where Italy have got the opportunity to go for 3 points. And this will just use up around maybe 60 seconds of the remaining 80 seconds of that Lewis Liner yellow card. Cormac is a Chukwu, the man who's been penalised there just for playing the man before he landed. We have got there playing the Black Caps, money on New Zealand. So here's Sash. Yeah, and from what I saw, I haven't actually seen an update on that game for a little while, but Finn Allen was going all right. Oh, there's the update there, 127 for 4. Now Paulo Garbisi, first kick of the game, 36.7 metres out on the angle. And he does get that kick over, making the score now 5 points to 3 between these two sides. I will say how long can Italy go? We're just sucking up pressure, says James. And yeah, it's currently first 20. They've been doing all right. I love to see Harry burn at 10, says Ascot. Looking great, Hamish, says JD. In there as well. But 20 seconds remain of the Linar card. He'll be keen to go back out there and make a real impact as soon as he makes his way on. Sam Prendergast attempts the short kick-off. It is taken nicely by Zabonin. Chapman 43 off 21, says Sash. Now going left-hand side. Alejandro Fusco is nowhere to be seen, so Paulo Garbisi plays half. Now the ball's there for the Italians once more in the box kick. Also back for Fusco. And does go high. Oh no, he's only got forwards chasing after it. Although one of them managed to actually slap that ball back onto the side of the Italians up until Craig Casey took it back. Right. Last chance here for Ireland before back to playing up against 15. Jamie Osborne sells the dummy. Almost went through the gap. There's a good tackle made in the middle of the field by Leonardo Madden. Now Prendergast across to Caelan Doris. Casey moves it off to Thomas Clarkson, who's had a quick start to this game, or a busy one for the big man, McCarthy. He's taken down once more. Craig Casey off to Prendergast. Wide cutout pass goes to would-be Caelan Doris. Finds himself situated out on the wing, which I believe means Balakoon must be on this other side. So keep an eye on the back line. No, never mind. Ireland have dropped into the midfield. And it's now going to make it a scrum feed for the Italians. And no donuts today. Says Big Rig. How did England lose to the West Indies? West Indies are actually looking relatively strong in this tournament. We saw one of their players actually get a hat-trick in the game up against the Scottish. But I don't know. I feel like it's going to be very intriguing to see how the Windies actually do throughout the contests coming up. Just because, like they've got all the players that they need to win, but it's whether or not they can do it. And no advantage even played on that knock-on means that Italy are obviously under the pump. Says Power Bite. And his passes are poor, kicking is bad, and is too rash, says James. And come on, Fischetti, we need a nice scrum, square and stable. Yeah, the scrum will be crucial. It's only 25 metres out from the line now. Ball is about to be fed in by Alejandro Fusco. And absolutely, Hamish, says JD. I can't believe we're already 23 minutes through this game. Oh, free kick awarded to the Italians. It's going to be against Thomas Clarkson, the man who I just praised. That seems to be a bit of a trend. When I praise a player, they end up doing something bad only about half a minute later. Although they are showing Jeremy Luckman, but I did hear Holly Davidson say number 3 rather than the number 1. Now Jamie Osborne. Possession here for Ireland, 40 metres out from their own line. James Ryan goes across to Sam Prendergast. Kick downfield from James, though. He's got a lot of height on that one. Let's go down just outside of the Italian 22. Returning fire of a kick of their own. And decent chase from Paulo Garbisi. Got fended off. Lewis Liner the same. Low showing off some stepping along the way too. Unless you make this as JD. Now James Ryan. Tackled by the captain Mikel Lamaro. This Chapman guy says, Sash, that one's going to be put high from Craig Casey. James Lowe looking for it. Slaps it back onto the side of the Irish. Nice take from Gary Ringrose. Now right-hand side. Oh no, don't decide to use it. out wide there, James Ryan. Instead, just takes the contact once more. Prendergast passes across. McCluskey finds Jamie Osborne. See, it's quite an interesting one because you look at the back line of Ireland at the moment, and I would almost argue that McCluskey's doing the better distributing from that number 12 jersey. It seems like at the moment it's just taking that little bit longer to get it to him, so then by then there's a bit of space that's already been shut down. Little chip attempted in behind. Bouncing the ball is perfect for the Italians. Looking for the offload. The pass was not, though, and ended up getting it. The counter-attack going to waste for the Italians. Lewis Linar gets the steal, but there was a knock-on initially from Italy. And hard Italy, Ireland cannot beat, says Fran. Just non-stop possession for Ireland at the moment, says Powerboy. Yeah, they're about 75% at the moment, the way that it sits. But there was a beautiful little chip in behind from Lorenzo Pani. Sits up for him. Craig Casey did well to get the ankle tap. And then the pass, it just seemed rushed from Pani. I think he assumed that he had to get rid of that as soon as possible. And just a little bit too low for Lamaro to be able to clean it up. And that thrilling piece of play from Italy. More of that, please. And Hamish says Mohadeen. Get that player off. Prendergast missing tackle, says James. How's Valentine's Day? We've been streaming for most of it. So just the normal for myself. But 25 minutes in, you can see the frustration from the Italians, as that was probably their chance to really get a good move going. And I honestly think if that offload had found the hands of Lamaro, he probably would have had the pace to be able to get there. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again, so I'll quickly mute and hide off to the side. We are good. Luckily, we had a bit of a stoppage there. Oops, that's the wrong button. There we go. Interesting scrum, see Powerboy. I haven't seen it yet. A scrum about to take place, 25 metres out from the Irish line. Ireland will win, says Simoni. So what's the score prediction? Simoni, please sneeze live, Hamish. I can just mute and hide off to the side, though. It's much easier and less hard on your eardrums. And happy Valentine's Day. Same to you. Now, that one's taken a while to come out. And it is going to be now the scrum reset. How many cards did you receive from Ruth, Hamish? I have received 0 cards for Valentine's Day. Prendergast off, Crawley on. Says Clack. And crowd are quiet. They will be a little bit nervous at the moment. 5 points to 3, the way that this one sits. This Ireland side, they have the ability that if they can find a bit of rhythm, they can work their way very quickly towards that bonus point. But they have to be able to just get it right a couple times in a row. Interesting. I mean, these scrums are interesting. And that it's right on Ireland's 22. That's where the ball was dropped, was it not? So I guess it makes sense, right? Or am I missing something? What did your wife buy you for Valentine's Day? Well, I haven't met her yet, I don't think, so I'm not sure. But no presents as of yet that I know of. Ireland 3 playing mind games with Fischetti. Now, that was interesting. Holly Davison was just about to blow the whistle for the Italians to win the penalty, and then she pulled out of going for it. It's kicked downfield. Big run forward from Pani. Now Fusco back across to the right-hand side. Hello, Hamish. It's Sean Patrick Watson. I'm back. I'm currently in Johannesburg, South Africa, so hopefully you are enjoying your time in Joburg. That's going to now be the ball for Fusco. Bit of a counter-rack from James Ryan. We all know that he's not going to do it legally as he tips an Italian player up and rips him out of the breakdown. Now 42 metres out from their own line here for Italy. Also, Ireland need to contest the breakdown more, says James. Yeah, it's quite interesting how little they are going for those balls. And I guess that's just not having Josh van der Flair out there. It seems to make a big difference now. Backline movement. Montiolani going to be trying to step around Sam Prendergast, who's missed the tackle again. Off to the right-hand side now. Shopping tackle from James Ryan. Bit of a counter-ruck from the Irish. Doesn't quite come off for them here. Only the way it sits, Ireland are $1.12 favourites compared to Italy's $5.50. So they've actually become closer at the stage of the contest than they were at the start here, Italy. Also, Ireland need to contest. And Prendergast doesn't tackle again, says James. Now a bit of a counter ruck there from Prendergast. Doesn't end up working out. Now Grubber attempted in behind from Fusco, goes straight to Jamie Osborne. This is a counter-attacking chance now for the Irish if they want it, but it looks like James Lowe is going to go for the kick. In fact, he's gone for a chip. Strategic play from Lowe. Offload to Casey. He thought about going for a kick, but breaks through a couple tackles instead. Got deceptive power. Craig Casey, very strong in a carry. You don't need a Valentine's card or a rose. You just need a like and subscribe, mate. Says Fleshin. The points at Ireland drop that scrum in the loose head side. These scrums are getting interesting. Says Power Bite. How's it, guys? Says Craig. Welcome in. Now, speaking of another Craig Casey about to go for this box kick. Does kick it downfield. Gary Ringrose running after. Oh, that's an ugly collision. Now, Ringrose, the benefit for him is he got a hand to it, so it's a knock-on advantage against Ringrose. The ball on the side of the Italians. 29 minutes through it. It looks like that was a really hard collision in the air. Charged down, attempted. Cleaned up now by Ringrose. He's dropped that ball on the ground, though, so Italy will win themselves not just the scrum, but also the penalty. Unlimited power, as Emperor Palpatine would say. Zuri says JD. We see it there going up for the ball. Gary Ringrose got the hand on it. Oh, he actually ate an elbow to the jaw too in the process of both men flying through. So no one got out of that lightly. Ringrose ate an elbow. The Italian ate the ground. And it looks like Lorenzo Pani has actually stayed down for a little bit here. Who's Scotland playing, brother? They are playing up against the English. And give it to Mononcello. He's a dangerous ball runner if they can get it into his hands. And we have got there Zuliani. Stealing balls left and right. Says Bellius, and he is so dangerous in those breakdowns. And that's something that Ireland are missing in this game. I mentioned about how no Josh van der Fleer for this game. And it's kind of felt because no one's going for steals. Doris normally is known for going for it, but he's playing at 7. And for some reason, we're just not seeing him take on those risks as much. But Italy are going to have themselves the line out about 25 metres out from the line. Parney's still looking a little bit ginger after that big collision in the air. But looks like he's going to want to continue in this game once again. How's it going, mate? Bloody Oz for you. Says JD. My wife said she prefers watching rugby than getting red roses for Valentine's. Says Sean. I mean, that works in your favour, surely. Nicely taken by Zabonin. Now Italy, this one going sideways. Now pass back across to Mononcello. Manages to get through the first attempt of McCluskey, eventually dragged down by 2 other Irishmen. Now looking off to the left-hand side. To get out of it once again for Ireland. Once again, there's no one in those breakdowns looking for a steal. Now this time Doris goes for it. He's told to get out. Oh, big knock on from Ferrari. And not only that, he got chopped down in the tackle too. Balakoon kicks it downfield. Monteoani chasing after this one. There's a lot of space, so he needs a favourable bounce, which is exactly what he has got on the halfway line. Manages to use his pace to get around the first attempt of Balakoon. An amazing Italy, says Fran. Now back across. Quick hands Garbisi. That looked like an interesting tackle attempt from Gary Ringrose, but the kick in behind now. Attempted by the Italians. This one rolls into touch about 12 metres out from the line, putting the Irish under pressure once again. And Ferrari Bro says Sush. And hang on. We got the T. Why is there a T? Why are we making a T? Now we're making a square. TMO check for something. Foul play by Ireland 9. Craig Casey. What's he done? Obviously, he's had to be a big shot for them to check it. Where is he? Craig Casey, we're going to see the replay. Oh. Okay, what's happened here is Craig Casey was getting set, and it's a head-on-head. I don't think Casey got anywhere near the better of that collision, and it looked like he was almost half by pulling out at the same time. But it's probably going to be a yellow card. They have head contact. Number 9's upright. It meets the yellow card threshold. He is going to be taken off the field here, Craig Casey. He's actually had one like that before, but I believe last time that happened, he actually got knocked out, didn't he, in that collision. Right, wait a minute. There's head contact. 9 is upright. Foul play, yellow card, threshold, yellow card for Craig Casey now. And it's an off-field review. I would be very surprised if this gets upgraded. The only good news for Casey is the fact that he gets his nose checked out because it is currently bleeding from taking that shot. Black Cats have maintained a run rate of around 10 per over. 5 overs to go, says Joss. Imagine getting smashed and maybe carded, says Bellius. A yellow card for a lad who gets an elbow into the face, laughable, says Barry. Okay, the commentators are just pretty much saying by the letter of the law it is correct. But then in that case, Craig Casey, you'll feel a little bit hard done by. Bounce between your commentary and the cricket. And a shade of green is lighter. We can't give them dark cards like red or anything like that. The lightest you have is appropriate, whatever the collisions. Says so. And now it is going to be a 5-metre line out here for the Italians. They had a period where they had 14 men on the field. Now they have it that they have the man advantage for the next 10 of this game. Perhaps longer if they gave Casey a red for that. Right. Line out now. Thrown in by Nicotera. Zabonin. He maybe was hit a little bit early. He's actually up off the ground. He's trying to ask the question of, hang on, I'm currently floating, so someone's collided early. But now rolling more here for the Italians. The crowd's starting to get behind them, and over the line they go. The Italians score, and they will take the lead at the Aviva in this match. It's a joke, and I wish Rashi was in the commentator's box for this. And wow, Italy says France, but they have now just taken the lead in this game. I believe it is Giacomo Nicotera who has been able to score it. They make the most of that Irish yellow. But Zabonin, he does end up in a very high position in that rolling maul. And eventually breaking off the back as that maul was rolling forward, keeping that body position low and finishing it too. Now let's go, says Bellius. Although, also I thought it was a yellow for Italy and not Ireland, says James. So Italy had a yellow earlier. Ireland have now got the yellow for Craig Casey. And Nicotera the mule. And brings it round, and the kick goes over. 10 points to 5 now. Who's at 9 for Italy? It is Alejandro Fusco. And that number 9 jersey works very nicely with Paulo Garbisi, as we are seeing time and time again throughout the last 12 months. Who's 9 for Ireland? It was Craig Casey. I assume you're talking about what now that he's gone off, who's playing 9 in the breakdowns, right? Might be your question. But now, currently 6 minutes remaining in this first half. There is frustration here for Andy Farrell. Now Ireland puts it high. Time from Sam Prendergast. Boot slapped back by Balakoon, but the knock on from Jeremy Luckman. Italy is the most improved side in world rugby, says Sean. Yeah, they're certainly trying to make a statement here. They have never beaten Ireland in Ireland. Throughout the whole history of the Six Nations, they have won, I believe, a very limited amount. 3.8% of the time, the Italians have been able to beat Ireland throughout the competition history. But now they find themselves in a scenario where, with how they're sitting now, it doesn't seem impossible. Now scrum. Just about to have and be careful with this, Italy. I was kidding about Ireland wooden spoon, but says Fran. And also wild that at least for a minute, Italy are winning. So 1 win, says South Kid. No, they've played each other a lot throughout history. So it's a few more than one. At least I think it is anyway. But now it's going to be the scrum feed once more. Oh no, going to have a scrum reset. I don't know if Italy has ever won a half against Ireland in Ireland. It wouldn't surprise me because, you know, they haven't won in Ireland in general. So a lot of the time Ireland come out of the gates firing and then they struggle to catch them up. Ireland trying to stop the scrum from setting. Says Powerbite. Italians are fired up, says Danielle. And yeah, as a momentum side that the Italians are, if they feel they have a good chance, they're going to love it. Italy won and Ireland and Dublin. So was that might have been prior to the Six Nations, was it? Rather than the Six Nations comp. Was that when it was the 5 nations perhaps? Maybe it's just Six Nations history they've never won. That's going to be the penalty. And a big celebration once more. Oh, a little bit of afters there. The last thing that the Irish can afford is to get themselves sent to the bin for a little bit of stupidness in the scrum. There's feeling out there. You can tell it's frustration from Ireland here. 5 years ago, nobody would have thought that Wales would consistently win the wooden spoon. And if Ireland had nothing planned on the second half, they would indeed lose this game. And says Bellius. Right, so it goes down front row. Then from there, what happens? What causes them to all get angry? Okay, so it's Dan Sheehan who started it. And I believe Holly Davidson is now just finishing it, pretty much saying anything like that and someone's going soon. Ireland have to be the most cheating, unlikable team these days, says Powerbite. And Ireland feeling the pressure and the Irish are losing the plot, says Fleshin, and wonder what World Rugby will say about Ireland's long scrum, says Unts. And December 1997, Italy defeated 37-22 in a friendly test match. Interesting. So, yeah, I think the stat is not in the Six Nations, though, from what they were saying earlier on. And card will remain a yellow, says South Kid. And please, I need to see Crawley like 10, says Franz. Decision is yellow card remains. I wonder if Craig Casey went for an HIA while he was off the field as an Irishman. It's mental to hate, says Stephen. Yeah. I don't know what it is either. It seems to be just throughout the last year that everyone seems to be going really hard at the Irish. His nose is buggered here, Craig Casey. He's got a cotton bud up both sides, Vaseline on the top where it is split. But he'll probably still make his way back out onto the field in 4 minutes or so's time. The good news is he doesn't have to feature for this first half, though. The Ireland poor team lost again at home, although they haven't lost this game yet. 37 minutes in, down by 5. And now this one looks like it's going to be trapped in there for the Italians, eventually managing to wrestle it out. Now moving away to the right-hand side, Montigiani. Now back to the right, Canoni. That time it was Nicolo. Yes, Ireland lost Italy and Dublin in the 2 tests. 1 test was in Italy, the other was in Ireland. And no one has knocked on my door today offering to tarmac my drive. I wonder if they are all watching the rugby. Do they normally knock on your door to offer to tarmac your drive, though? It's going to be the ball now in the hands of Ireland off the knock-on from the Italians. Crowd starting to try and get behind this Irish side again. Nice pass from Prendergast, goes to McCarthy, but low tackle again made by the Italians. Borders will do a Wales after half-time. Walk out. Change coach Robertson. Here's Angie. Big driving tackle from Italy once more. The commentators are wondering whether Italy can keep up this pace throughout the 80 minutes. I think they underestimate that heart that the Italians have when they feel they've got a chance in a game. Now thought about the high kick there for Pani. He will run it back to halfway instead. Now 70 seconds remaining in the first half. Canoni again goes back across Garbisi. Kicked him behind, attempted, and that might be a 50-22 if it curves the right way, but it does not. Goes into the in-goal area. And Jamie Osborne does place that ball down. Take off Prendergast already, says James. Yeah, they offer to relieve lead and copper for free from my roof too, says Sebastian. And what do you think is the biggest issue going into the next World Cup, says Sean? Well, at the moment, it just seems to be, like, of course it may change in the next few weeks, but at the moment for me, the lack of intent in the breakdowns, I think, has really been hurting Ireland. We've got to look at this game, and, like, you see Italy have got about maybe 3 or 4, if not more, steals in the breakdowns, whereas Ireland, I can only think of maybe 1 that they've had throughout this game off the top of my head. It just seems like they've lost that jackler, where, you know, last year, you'd see Josh Van der Fleer and everything. And you see Caelan Doris getting those steals. So I'm not sure what the big plan is for the Irish in terms of tactically, but they don't want to steal the ball in the breakdowns. And maybe that is because they went through a patch where they were penalised for absolutely everything. Prendergast says a much. Shake says a scrum half either. Says Powerbite. 38 matches between the sides in total. Italy have won 4. Says Akardis. Currently we are up to the halfway stage of this contest. The halftime siren has sounded, but the first half will continue for that little bit longer. Currently there are 14 men on the field for Ireland for another minute 20. Gary Ringrose is going to take a go at having the halfback role. It's the best commentary ever, pure gold, says Ruth. And Italia, says Hano. I think Italy would be so happy with how the score sits at the moment, if this is the way that it sits at the halftime break. And Irish are brutal. Says Dazza. And also really disappointed in these handling errors by Italy. They are even playing with a double fly half, having Marin at 12. Yeah, see that breakaway where we saw Pani break the line and then offload. Had the ball been caught by Lamaro, that could have been the try. Oh, that's a huge scrum from the Italians. And they win a scrum penalty against the feed. That is a statement right there from the Sazuri side. Should the Irish be removed from the Six Nations? No. And we have the OMG, the scrum says Fran. That is pure power, though, from this Italian pack. And our game is far, far from over. Don't know why people are suddenly writing Ireland off. Yeah, see, it's one of those ones. It seems like at the moment the cool thing to do in the world of rugby, and it comes from the social media side, but as soon as a side struggles, everyone seems to just love to jump on the hate wagon for them. But, week to week, these games change so quickly. And I feel like, this game's probably not the best example of that, because Italy are continuing from what they did up against Scotland. Ireland not quite finding their rhythm. Oh, they've kicked for the corner here. Now, the reason behind that for the Italians is because of the fact that they've still got, making his way back on the field now, Ireland. They may have taken a bit too long to go for that kick, but that is a kick and a half from Paolo Garbisi, beautifully put into the corner. Having a name like Doris is always going to make your school days difficult. Ireland should be removed from rugby union. Well, they got rid of their sevens, if that makes you feel any better, Dazza. Let's go, put pizzas in the oven, boys. Maybe Italy want the bonus points, says Big Rig. Yeah, maybe they're feeling it at the moment. They're in with a shot of being able to score a few more. But yeah, I think it was just more so take more momentum into halftime, and maybe they thought that Casey was still going to be off, so they were 15 on 14, whereas second half coming back up, they probably expected to be back to 15 for each side. Now Marin trying to get that ball away. That's brilliant work from McCluskey, who managed just to rip it onto the side of the Irish. Somehow it was about to pop back onto the side of the Italians. Can Irish play for GB and sevens? They just cooked. They're just cooked, unfortunately. Did want to blood new players, says Ruben. The ball's there for Ireland once more. That one's held up in the breakdown. So that is actually going to become it would have been a scrum, but it is now half-time in this match. Bit more push and shove here. James Ryan and Nicotera going back and forth. Just as we reach the half-time break, Ireland said that they had a monster pack or power pack for this game. Not sure it's going as well for the men they predicted. Says Power Bite. Oh, okay. Monty Ioane and James Ryan going back and forth. Now, James Ryan seems to be in the centre of every single problem that we're seeing at the moment for the Irish when it comes to the back and forth in the pushing contest. Yet in the breakdowns, we haven't seen him push once. And what a shame. But what a great half by Italy. Yet going into this halftime break, 10 points to 5 in this contest. Now, I just want to mention, Italy are $2.50 underdogs here. They started this game as a $7 underdog in this matchup. So they are doing much better than expected of them in this contest. No Irish, please, says Dazza. No, it's not England. We'll run over the top of Scotland, says Stephen. I'm going to sing a few verses of the Irish Rover, says Sebastian. I think get Prendergast off and number 2 off for Ireland and get James Ryan off, says James. Yeah, see, this is where they have to get their subs right. And, are they too stubborn to change Prendergast at this stage? It's probably the big question, because Prendergast has been far from his best. And I know that that's become the new thing that everyone's like, he sucks. But in this game, this is still very winnable for the Irish, but the distribution of their backs has just not quite been the level that they like. So I think take Casey off at halftime. The man's nose is busted up, so he's probably struggling to breathe anyway. So stick Gibson Park out there. I think make the change early, put Crowley in at 10, and then from that scenario, just look to just build back into this game. But I think they have to do it early. They can't wait till 65 minutes or else this game might be gone by then. The issue is that Cormac is a Chukwu. He's done 0 this game. Ireland have added a 2-man back row. And you could even argue that they've hardly had that at times. Breakdown-wise, they just need someone to get in there and create a chance for a steal. But yeah, I'm not sure whether or not they'll chuck Cormac back out there. So maybe, you look at the options that they've got. They have gone with a 6-2 split. So I think Tyke Byrne, not a bad option to get on there early. Maybe you get a Dogbo out there for his Irish debut. Although it's a bit of a risk, but to be fair, the man's an absolute tank. So why wouldn't you chuck him out there, give him a bit of a chance? Went to Dublin once. They had horses in the street there. How long ago was this, Sebastian? And Italy can spell blood. We look very ordinary, says Cringy Cook. I have Irish blood in my veins, but I love Italian rugby, says Gideon. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people have Italy as their second side in the Six Nations in terms of the teams who have loyalty to someone else. It was the last to score before half-time. The electricity was off, says Hardest. So the last try for the Italians, in fact, it was Giacomo Nicotera off a rolling maul. I think both teams are on different trends, says Cringy. A lot of people have great gardens in Dublin with the horses, if you get me, says Sebastian. I don't get you at all. But second half of this contest is getting very close, ladies and gents. And also what is getting very close is round 3 of the Six Nations. But here's a fun fact that isn't actually that fun when you really think about it. We don't have Six Nations rugby. We have it next weekend, but weekend after, there is a bye week, which does mean that we have to make the most of this week here, because then we have to wait that little bit longer before the competition does get back underway. But it will be England versus Ireland. That's going to be quite the game at Twickenham Stadium. Wales versus Scotland at the Principality, and then the French going head-to-head up against the Italians. Now, they will either be sitting with 2 wins on the cards or perhaps a bonus point. I would say would be a great chance of being up there. But this is intriguing, this one at the moment, ladies and gents. So that is the next round taking place next week. This is the way that the table was sitting. Currently, if it finished now for this game, the Irish would receive 1 point. They would still sit there in 5th, and Italy would move into 1st on the 8 points. Now, that may not be where they sit at the end of the round, but it would be something for this Italian side, of course. Second half of this contest is not going to be an absolute mile away from taking place. I will mention anyone who is new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have got there, we look pedestrian out there, says Cringy. And when is the French playing this weekend? They are playing up against Wales tomorrow. So actually about 24 hours time from now is when they will take to the field for the Welsh versus French game. And then also in 1 hour, 30 minutes time is when we get to see the match between England and Scotland. And Italy might win this game, says Eliza. Yeah, they are not massive underdogs anymore. In this case, currently they find themselves sitting as the $2.50 underdogs for this game. And Marco Janssen dented their betting roster, says JD. And also, my prediction is looking way off. And they could have easily gone in 17 points to 5. Yeah, a couple mistakes from Italy. And that's the pretty impressive part about the way that they played throughout this first half, is they had more chances. And they weren't really able to take them. Whereas the Irish, they didn't have a huge amount of other opportunities. Or at least they didn't create many of them. Had a lot of ball throughout that first about 30 minutes. Weren't able to do a whole lot with it. Are we going for a points record versus the Scots? Says Sebastian. And the reason why Ireland aren't liked as the amount of help that they have had. World Rugby headquarters in Dublin. A lot of money given to Irish Rugby by Big Tech. Also headquartered in Dublin. Says Power Bite. But it's a tricky one because, if a team gets given money, that's just how it is, isn't it? We'll see sides in the future, if we ever see some big support for, I don't know, perfect example, probably someone like a Saudi Arabia in the World Rugby. They will have a lot more funding than certain sides. The USA, if they get into their rugby, they'll have a lot more funding. So I don't think you can hold that against them with the fact that they are, a side that, people want to give money to. Can't really, I don't see that as a problem. We have got there, is this the end of Irish playing in the Six Nations? Not at all. They'll be back next week playing up against the English. Mate, the Irish have to be the worst sports in rugby at the moment. They want to have handbags after each set they lose. And I think that's just frustration. They know that they should be doing better, but they can't at this stage. They just seem like they're not finding their rhythm. I don't mind Ireland. They are good at rugby, or they used to be. I got to give them something in life. Says Sebastian, should Ireland be removed? Nobody likes them, says Dazza. No, they'll be in the Six Nations for a long time coming. So unfortunately for you, you're going to have to put up with them for a lot longer. Chances of Ireland winning the tournament are getting slimmer and slimmer big time. For Ireland to have, I would say actually, this is a bold statement, and it may not actually be true at all, but I would say if Ireland want any chance of winning the Six Nations, and even if they win this game with a bonus point, it's unlikely because of the way that it's sitting in the overall comp. But yeah, Ireland minimum need a bonus point win here, I believe, to get a chance of going on to win the whole comp. Maybe Doris is just a bad captain. Says Big Rig. Has the Irish downfall slightly started since Peter O'Mahony's left that loose forward trio? Are they still struggling to find that replacement six to be able to get the job done? So I will ask the question. I don't think many people are backing Cormac as a Chikwu as a long-term replacement for now. So who would you guys go with? Irish international number 6. Who do you want to see in that jersey? I think Italy will win this one, says Sebastian. Does Wales get relegated? They do not. They are still in the Six Nations for plenty more time as well. Italy might crumble in the dying minutes, but Ireland hasn't shown me any way of getting back into this. Says Saku. I think their key is the subs. I think that it's aggressive, but I think that's about what they have to do here. Get Crowley on, get Gibson Park on, and stick a new 19 combination for Italy to try and work out in the early stages of the second half. That way you give those two time to be able to get into their craft. No matter what, I think you put Gibson Park on at halftime though, or once the second half gets underway. Should Georgia play in the Six Nations 2027 instead of Ireland? No, probably not. Irish compare Ireland with Scotland. Geordie Batter and Rico Ioane transfers paid for by Google slush funds. Scotland doesn't have any money. There's no school systems, hence Ireland unpopular. So once again, you said like they have available funds, so they use them. Would you prefer that they had the available funds and just kept them in the pocket? We have got their no, says Fleshin. And we have also got there, our money does not make a great team. Foresight and building depth does. Says Ruanel. Sexton was the general. That's true. He also was a player that they lost at around that same time. Yeah, it'll be intriguing. I feel like there's still... but the problem is, they won't make the changes, will they? Everyone loves an underdog after holding number 1 in the world as long as they did. Means Ireland do not qualify to be considered underdogs. Says so. And Georgia better than Ireland, Sebastian. Says Daza. What happened last time that Ireland played Georgia? Out of curiosity. We got there, if they have money, good luck to them. Says Sebastian. And Ireland is going to get a card very soon. They lost their heads some way. They did against the Springboks. But Holly Davison might be quarter Irish, says Sacco. I mean, they've already received a yellow card, though. In that first half, it was Craig Casey who made his way from the field. Yeah, just showing, I think it's speed skating being shown at the moment here in New Zealand during this halftime break. Those ladies were going very quick round that track. I don't think speed skating would be my thing. When we did go ice skating back at school, I had to use one of those frames to make sure that I didn't fall over. Razor should coach Ireland, says Jan. And we have there, come on fellas. Put your shamrocks up, says Gunner. And Ireland also need to get Timony on the park, says Duncan. So I assume that's into that number 6 jersey, right? Ireland front 5. Had all the momentum in the loose. Will be interesting who wins the pack battle with in the loose. Watching speed skating too, says Saku, and I haven't understood anything since the 2025 Six Nations had appeared Prendergast in the Irish team. And Ireland might be as good as Wales soon if they keep practicing. And we have got there, stop the hate on Ireland. We don't do this in rugby union, folks. Yeah, see, it's actually got worse though, hasn't it? Like, no matter where you go now, there are people hating on every side. And it's a big shame because, like, it used to be, like, there was a bit of banter, but now it's gotten quite personal for a lot of people in the world. And, like, it's kind of, you know, it's a sport. You're supposed to enjoy it rather than take it so seriously. But I guess when there's things on the line, people get into it a little bit more. But yeah, like, at the end of the day, these sides are all world class. And, like, that wouldn't be the same, like people saying kick Ireland out of the Six Nations. No, like, it's not the same without a side like Ireland in there. Georgia 5, Ireland 34 in July, says Mark. Yeah, so that kind of answers what he was saying earlier on about Ireland supposedly being worse than Georgia. That doesn't quite seem to be the case. I blame gambling. I actually do too. I think that gambling's ruined sport completely because people can't enjoy a game anymore if they've got money on it, because then, you know, if a ref gives a call that stops them from getting their try-scoring multi, then they get angry. And, you know, like, yeah, I feel like the world was much simpler when betting was a little bit more of a rarity in sport. What on earth does South Africa need Razor for? Says I Lollipop. And Ireland need to revamp, but the quarters, here we come. And also, get Ireland out of the Six Nations campaign, says Desert. And we have got there, all right, thanks, says Inquisitor. What do you think Black Cats need to do to win second innings? Bowl South Africa out would be handy enough. Andy Farrell will not be able to adapt. I don't know what his adoption situation is, but maybe they are going to suffer some fate as Wales. No elite players coming through. I don't know about that. I feel like Ireland actually have a few good young players in the mix. They just don't use them. It's a little bit similar to what we saw in terms of, like, Ulster's probably one of the inform Irish teams at the moment throughout the URC. They don't use a lot of those Ulstermen in their lineups. So, like, I think it comes down a little bit to selection in this case, but as well as that, it just seems like they're lacking that intent at times. Come on, the talk of Ireland leaving the Six Nations is nonsense. It is. It's never going to happen. And I then, Scooby Sir, I've rejoined now. How's the game been so far? It's been interesting. I think it's the best way of describing it. A lot of possession for the Irish throughout this matchup, although Italy are the team who have the more points on the board. We have got there. Do you think they will fire Andy if they lose this game? Hard to say. It's one of those ones that I would hate to be a coach. Because no matter who you are, and no matter what game takes place, as soon as you lose, people want to sack you. So, you never quite know. I mean, look at Razor for the perfect example. They locked him in long term. Halfway through, they went, you know what? No, you can go away. But now there's a new coach on the cards. If they lose their games, then New Zealand might sack them too before the World Cup. We'll have to wait and see what happens in that regard. But yeah, there's a lot of coaches that just get passed around all throughout the place. Firing a coach during a tournament is wild. Look what happened to Wales. And Tezza, are you old enough to be allowed on social media? Says Kiwi. I think they will... no, I read that one. No, and Ireland shouldn't be allowed to play rugby. They shouldn't be allowed, really. So what, they have to watch it instead rather than playing it? Is that your system that you're going for, or are they not even allowed to watch it? You're saying that they have to leave. We have got there... this isn't football. We shouldn't be firing coaches after every loss, says Inquisitor. And go Ireland, it's time to beat, says Fran. And I guarantee everyone will be saying we need booting from the Six Nations tomorrow, says Flesh, and they will be. But, the thing is, though, it happens every time. And I know people say, but if Georgia were in the Six Nations, eventually they'd get better. But until Georgia beat Wales in a head-to-head contest, the argument's not really there. So I think it's fine. And also, we've got to remember the stakeholders of the Six Nations. All of the countries have a say. So, of course, Wales aren't going to vote themselves out of the Six Nations comp. Same with Italy. Same with Ireland. Same with any of these sides. But the second half is underway. I see Jack Conan's out there. Have they decided to make any changes here for the Irish? Or are they just hoping to continue on the same way that they started? Nice take from Robert Ballacoon. Right. I see Tyke Furlong. He is on the field. Surely he's not the only change. But it kind of looks like he is for this Irish team. Prendergast is still out there. Craig Casey is still out there. And now Joe McCarthy. He's out there too alongside James Ryan. Now tries to get going. Simeone Ferrari almost wrestling the ball free from his grasp. Now Casey back across to Prendergast. Terrible pass to Jeremy Luckman. That one looked like it was a clear knock on, but it is going to be play on just for now McCluskey. And there's an advantage now against the Italians. Good evening, Hamish. Apologies for being late as lemon slice clogged up my hot tub. How does that happen? A lemon slice clogged up. Did you drop the lemon slice in and it just got sucked in by a jet or something? How does that even occur? Now is it Chukwu. Passes across the left-hand side. Big wide cutout pass from Sam Prendergast. Going to McCluskey. He wanted the offload. Oh, that was interesting from Ty Furlong. Jumped on and it's going to go back for the penalty. Anyone favourite rugby version of the Euros though? That'd be interesting. Although I feel like the rugby calendar is pretty busy as it is. So the best chance of seeing it's kind of the World Cup, I guess, in terms of seeing some of those guys play off in the group stage. That one's going to be kicked into touch. Turning down the 3 points here for Ireland. Going aggressive from the start of the second half. This is when they need a big moment. Because the thing is, as interesting as that first half was, and as poor at times as Ireland played, they're only down by 5. If they score and convert, they're ahead in this contest. And I feel like that will be a little bit of a kick in the face for the Italians if that is the way it worked out. Both of these sides have 100% line-out accuracy throughout this match, fun fact. Going to the front, Jeremy Luckman. That is another successful line out here. But 3 men in there for the Italians looking for the steal. They're told to stay on side. James Ryan goes to Jack Conan. Who's it going to be? Cormac is a Chukwu. Decides to take the carry. 3 metres short of the line again. Who wants it? Jeremy Luckman does. Gets dragged down one short. Who is looking for it now? Looks like Doris might have half a crack. He's going to pop it up to his teammate. That is over the line, and Ireland score the try. It's Jack Conan who manages to get it. And Ireland now back in this game early on in the second half. So obviously they decided changes was not the problem. They just needed to be more fired up, the starting lineup. Obviously, Farrell said something to them at halftime because they went out with a vengeance. They gained their own kickoff. And from there, just possession phase after phase for Ireland. The penalty one, kick to the corner, and finished off by Jack Conan in the number 8 jersey. It's a bad defeat for the Irish, says Dazza. It would be crazy if Italy pipped Ireland in the end, says Cited. Yeah, although this is the worst possible start to the second half that Italy could have asked for here. The Box lost 1 game against Wales and everyone was throwing us in the bin, so there's nothing to go by when testing the years. Yeah, people were calling for Rossi to be sacked after that loss to the Australians. And I mean, look what he did afterwards in terms of the wins that he was able to get. So sometimes it's like the easy answer is to get rid of a coach, or at least people think it is. But, you know, if the team's dropping the ball 20 times throughout a game, that's not so much on the coach. That's more down to just the basic skills. And Brendan Garsley, he's missed that one again, so the score is going to remain at 10 points to 10. Now, I will mention these two sides are both on 10, but Ireland have scored 2 tries, Italy have scored 1. So 2 tries away for Irish side from the bonus point. Italy still need another 3 if they want that bonus point for the scoring. I think of taking a sports bet, or I sometimes think of taking a sports bet, then rethink and say no, because it would take my enjoyment away. It could become an addiction, says Brian. But yeah, like, you know, so many people, we have seen it in the past as well in terms of the chat. There'll be people who put a whole heap of money on something. And then at the end of the game, they'll lose it and they'll go like, I literally just spent my whole wages for the week on this game because I thought that this was going to happen. But sport's just too unpredictable. You know, I don't think many people were predicting 10 points to 10 at 44 minutes into this game, but here we are. Does Greg get sacked? Maybe all the coaches in the Six Nations just do a little swapperoo. Just go with Farrell goes to Scotland. Wales, they've got a new coach for now, so they don't need to do any switching. And then just stick Townsend for Ireland. Just make it easier. Then you don't have to go through the CV process and getting everyone sorted and all of that. Just go for a basic swap. So glad I switched on for this one, says Stephen. Judgy are very close between these two sides at the moment. At this stage before a World Cup, it would be stupid to get rid of a coach now, says Cited. Yeah, you're getting a little bit too close to that next one. Did Prendergast just miss 2 kicks in a row? He certainly did, yes. Funny how missed Ireland not rolling away the entire first half. Penalised Italy straight away for not rolling. Get his glass as much, says Blickies. And Prendergast is seriously damaging Ireland's chances, says Mark. Yeah, see, I thought they were going to make the change. Well, at least that's what I would have done. I would have put Crowley and also Gibson Park on at halftime. But I think they're trying to get as much as they can out of Prendergast before bringing on Crowley. And half the time, they don't even bring on Crowley for Prendergast. They stick him in the back line somewhere for Crowley. And then Prendergast stays on. Big scrum from the Italians. So the change of furlong has not changed much when it comes to scrum momentum. Knock on there from Alejandro Fuso. And they'll go back now to the halfway line. They should try and keep the Irish crowd from turning on their team for the time being, says Dunk. Franco Smith must coach Scotland. And Joe Schmidt made Ireland the best passing team in the world. Farrell has neglected parts of Ireland's game, says Powerbite. Townsend should have been fired 6 years ago. Franco Smith to come in. Right, Italy have also decided to back themselves to go for the corner here rather than go, almost a chance there for Robert Balakoon to be able to keep it in the field of play. But it does go out probably about as maximum distance as he could have got for that one, Polo Garabisi. Now the Italians have already had the 1 try in this contest. That was Giacomo Nicotera. And Ireland has astronauts in the front row, says I Lollipop. The scrum looks good for Italy. Look very strong. But it's going to have to be because when they go up against France next week, they're going to have to really be on their A game when it comes to scrum time. And in fact, across the whole board, they have to be on their A game. Now, Nicotera throws it into the front. Great steal from Cormac. Is a Chukwu. And it gives the ball back to the Irish. Will Italy regret turning down the 3? Or is there still a chance just around the corner? Kick downfield from Sam Prendergast. And does get it into touch. This one will be about 38 metres out. Schoolman feeling a bit better. And Hamish, you should get Super Chats in then. Or Hamish, you should get Super Chats in. Then you don't need to read out and say comments. We have Super Chats enabled. It's just most people just comment, which is, I guess it's easier. But any message we get on Super Chat does get popped up on the screen. Within reason, of course. If there's anything like bad, we can't pop it up. But yeah, they normally pop up on the screen for about a minute or so. Now, Giacomo Nicotera. We need to put this ball in once more to the line out, taken this time by Zabonini, who's recovered really nicely from that early injury that he did suffer of his shoulder. Now, right-hand side, Polo Garbisi plays half. Zuliani, big game from him so far in that Italian number 7 jersey, still on his feet and having another crack. Looking for the breakdown turnover was Doris, but his timing slightly wrong. Now backline once more. Monte Ioane goes away to the left-hand side. Flick pass out the back. Pani near the wing. Oh, great tackle made by Jamie Osborne. And in that regard, I mean, it was a terrible, great tackle because he missed the tackle, but it was enough to bump him towards the sideline. And we have got there Italy. Have turned down the 6 points. Ouch. And also we have got there, here we go, guys, says Dash. Yeah, big opportunity to score there, Italy. And yeah, bumped off there from Osborne, but just enough to be able to wrestle him out. Nice take from Cormac as a Chukwu. They'll go back across here to the left-hand side, Ireland. Good run forward from Conan. One of the 2 try scorers for Ireland in this game. And get Bubba O'Reilly on. Says Eric, that one's going to be kicked into touch. Now 31 minutes remaining in this contest. I don't know why they haven't made the changes yet. Don't get me wrong, good early try in the second half, but we've flown back into the same kind of swing of things that we had for the first half now for this Irish side. Italy are still looking like they're ramping up quite nicely, but I don't know, Ireland, did they have their big moment? I imagine if the game ended in a draw, it could happen. And I don't know whether or not that would favour both of these sides for the Six Nations draw or whether it would hurt them. I'd assume it would actually hurt them. Although the Italians, that would still put them in a good spot, but I think they need wins from here if they do want a chance of winning. Ball's there for the Italians, though. Sitting 30 metres out from the Irish line. Alejandro Fusto goes back across to the right. Tackle made on Pani. Oh, sorry, yeah, I get it now. Says Sebastian. Mononcello, 20 metres out. No way this ends in a draw. I mean, to be fair, we're only 30 minutes away from it. If it stays the way that it is currently. Are you saying no way this ends in a draw because Italy are going to win or because Ireland are going to win? Inquisitor. Now, tackle made. Caelan Doris on the ball, wins the penalty for his side. Or does he? No, they end up not giving the penalty in favour of the Irish as it was ripped away too cleanly. See, that's one of those ones they probably would have preferred the penalty as they would have been able to work their way out of their half. But instead now they have to go with a kick downfield from Jamie Osborne. And Italy get to continue the attack. Taken quickly by Alejandro Garbisi. Now step from Monte Ioane. Passed across to Lewis Liner. I think that's the first time we've mentioned him since actually that yellow card that he received, Liner. Now someone is going to try something, break the deadlock. I'll either work or backfire, says Inquisitor. Now backline movement again here for the Italians. But the Irish, they were close to getting themselves that turnover penalty. In the end, just kicking it straight back into the hands of Italy to get it moving. Now moving away to the right-hand side. Mononcello sells the dummy. He goes through a gap here for the Italians. The wide cutout pass. Lewis Liner, who I just said we hadn't mentioned for a while, managed to get the try. Sebastian said it about a minute ago, so he must be ahead. But it is a great try out wide for Italy as they take the lead back in this game. Italy are just playing the better rugby compared to Ireland at the moment, says Power Bite. They don't even try to tackle him, says South Kid. But yeah, Ireland, they'll be looking back at that one and saying, we wish we got that penalty rather than play on from inside of the 22, but it was too cleanly stolen by Caelan Doris. They ended up working in his favour. Oh, They're checking it here to see if it is backwards or forwards. That depends on who you talk to as to whether that one's considered as forward. We're going to check it though. Fully deserved says Bilius. And a mile forward says Dunk there, and checking it says Sebastian. Right. Oh, now that's interesting wording from Holly Davidson. She said in the build-up to the try, you're going to show me a forward pass, which would almost make you think that no matter what. See, the hands go backwards, but the ball goes forward. Momentum is a thing, and this is going to be an intriguing one because it's one of those weird physics things. Because when you look at it, Mononcello, at the time that Linar catches the ball, is still in front of said ball. But I would say this one's probably going to be ruled as forward. But do the hands go backwards in that scenario? Holly Davidson, who basically stole the game for Munster a couple of weeks ago, of their hand on the scales. Okay, clearly forwards out of their hands is the ruling, so it will be no try for the Italians. Going to be no try now. The crowd are happy about it as it keeps the score at 10 points to 10 now. 52 minutes in, try was given no. It was initially, but then now taken away. And luck of the Irish, there's Big Rig. And there too. It looks like there is going to be some subs. Right, this is when they need to really, I was going to say pull finger for the Irish in terms of getting to that next level if they want a chance, because or else Italy will wear them down. It looks like Ronan Kelleher, he's made his way onto the field for Dan Sheehan. We see Joe McCarthy making his way off. Craig Casey also going off the field now. So Gibson Park's on, but guess who's also still on? Sam Prendergast. I get Prendergast off for God's sake. As this coach thick, says James. And not going to lie, I'm going to love how far the Italians have come. I don't love how the combo has shifted to Wales being kicked out of the Six Nations. Says Inquisitor. This could be a changer. Says Sebastian. So Tyke Byrne is on. Jameson Gibson Park's on. Ronan Kelleher is on. Now scrum from just outside of their own 22 here for Ireland. Ireland most protected team in World Rugby. It's probably just not the case though, is it? Ball's going to be fed in. Oh no, didn't quite get it into that one. It's going to be the free kick now. I love how the combo has shifted. I don't love how the combo has shifted to Wales being kicked out of the Six Nations, says Ben Williams. And also, Irish ref again, says Young. And so it was ruled, well, it was actually the TMO who made that decision though. But that one's going to be kicked downfield from Ireland. That one's going to be knocking around. Awkward bouncing ball. Lamaro went to give it back, but it goes to Ronan Kelleher. Right, attacking chance here for Ireland already. The pace is up with Jameson Gibson Park at the helmet 9. Now moving away, Sam Prendergast. Sold about 4 dummies, never passed the ball. 22 metres out from the line and they'll reset now. He is not involved in this backline. McCluskey offloads it to Tyke Furlong. Big collision with the Italian number 12. Now back across Gibson Park goes to Jamie Osborne. The hands rule is always in favour of the British teams and not the rest of the world. A different looking glass is used when Ireland and Brits play, says Yote. Oh, first play, another steal in the breakdown. That was Mikel Lamaro who managed to get in there. Outrageous advantage, says Mariano. I think Sheen is to be dropped again out of the team next. I want Crowley on. I think you're going to be waiting a little while. Farrell was not keen to make that switch. That ball's going to be booted out though. Jameson Gibson Park already making the difference. Yeah, the tempo has changed massively. Like I'd say a second or two quicker in each breakdown already with Jameson Gibson Park out there. So the kick was going high from Gibson Park. And it was a tough one to be able to line up. Or sorry, from Prendergast, in fact, was the man who made that kick. How many seals have Italy had? I think they're up to about 6 in this game. Now Kelleher. Ready to throw this one in. And once again, it's going to be slapped back by Ireland. Luckman loses the ball. Zuliani rips it off him beautifully. And now Italy have got themselves the attacking chance 40 metres out from the line. They're hiding Prendergast in the backfield, says Power Bite. I feel like that's the worst place to put him though, isn't it? Because in one-on-one tackles, that man has actually missed about 3 today. Now going off to the right-hand side. Oh, big knock on from the Italians. McCluskey, what is that? He's gone for a sideways boot. And Oh, that's a big call from Holly Davison, and that is heavily going in favour of the Italians. McCluskey skew with the boot, and she ended up saying that it was advantage over. Pass from Montigiani. Running this one forward is Alejandro Fusto. So normally you would see a scrum for Ireland, but instead Italy again getting the attack going. Now Big Fen looking for the offload. It goes loose. Linar picks it up and just gets bundled into touch by James. I want Crowley, says James. And Italy are playing all the rugby, and how's it just joined? Can't believe the score, man. As the great Irish rugby stint coming to an end of its cycle, the Italians starting a cycle of not seeing they beat the Scots also. I think Italy deserve a lot of credit for what they're doing. Like, it's very easy to say, oh, Scotland play badly, Ireland are playing badly, but Italy, I think, in some regards, are making these sides play badly, just with the pressure that they're applying. Their breakdown work, I don't want to say too much because it might get me in trouble, but I think at the moment, their breakdown steals don't have to be up there in terms of the most of the Six Nations. Of course, they played an extra game than a few of the other teams, so it's maybe making it a bit easier, but I'd say at the end of this round, they'll be right up there in terms of the stats. Italy's so good. Last season, Italy looked really good, says Inquisitor. And also, what time England playing? They are playing in just over an hour's time, an hour, 4 minutes. Right, massive cheer around the Aviva as Jack Crowley makes his way onto the field. Now, we've got to remember, Prendergast is a Leinster man. This is his home ground per se at times throughout the URC, etc. And Crowley got a massive ovation as he makes his way on. I think maybe a bit of an injury too for Prendergast, a bit of a limp happening there. There's also doing all right with stamina. Don't tell lies, Scotland's been bad, is 100% on the shoulders of Townsend, says Kerr. Now going back across to the right-hand side. Yeah, some interesting selections even for this game up against the English coming up, but James Lowe going off to the right-hand side. This might be the first time we've had you for a Scottish game in a while too, Kerr. Potentially, I assume you're somewhere random around the world currently. On the halfway line now for the Irish. Jamieson gives him part, goes across to Crowley, finds McCluskey. Starting to find a bit more momentum now. You'd think the Irish in terms of some of their passing. Nice ball from Tyke Byrne on the inside to Kelleher. Jeremy Luckman. It's probably the next man to go. I would say nice quick hands from the back line. Passed on the outside. Bellacoon, that was awful from him. It went in behind James Lowe, but he has done brilliantly to be able to control it with his foot. Now gives him Park. Goes off to the left-hand side. Luckman quickly distributed by Jack Crowley. Shoveling it on the outside. It's a chance for Ireland. Cormac is a chuckwoo. Towards the corner he goes, but he's tackled by Lewis Liner. 10 metres out from the line. Gibson Park. Cross to Crowley. Fires it to Tyke Byrne. Attack and run from the replacement lock. Gives him Park, wins the advantage for offside. Crowley pops it to McCluskey. American football style pass over the top. Bellacoon goes by himself and he scores the try. 2 seconds after Crowley comes on, the Irish score. Is it coincidence or is it now the turning point in this game for Ireland? And Sebastian, you were once again early. Try not to do too many spoilers if you can. We have got the hell of a try, says Eric. Prendergast looks like he would struggle. Getting a local team, says Fleshin. Now can we please get that idiot Prendergast dropped down and get Byrne and Crowley in, says James. But a beautiful pass. Getting that momentum going just out from the 22. It was quick fire. Good distribution from this Irish backline. Looking a little bit more like the Irish backline of old as well. Maybe the Crowley effect, says Fran. And as soon as Prendergast comes off, a Prendergast off try for Ireland, says Duggan. Yeah, it took 2 minutes, if that, for them to be able to score that try. And now the Irish, they are not just leading in this game, but they are 1 try away from a bonus point. They could secure 5 from this game. I went from Italy 15 to Ireland 15 fast, didn't it, says Big Rig. And also we have got there, is it just the aura or something? How quickly they have a turn around so quickly, says so. But yeah, it was just a good backline. And to be fair, very nicely done by McCluskey, who has to be up there for man of the match at the moment if the Italians don't win. I think if Italy win, then probably Zuliani is going to be in the running for it. But, yeah, McCluskey's been really good with his distribution. Townsend needs to go. Coaching skills with dynamite. He wouldn't have enough to blow his nose. Haven't heard that one. But, yeah, he's definitely not up against it, but he has a huge amount of pressure on him to get it right. but he just doesn't seem to change the things that people want to see changed. I do see Dave Cherry off the bench, though, for the Irish in this upcoming game. Hopefully they give George Horn a bit more game time, though, because once again, he came on up against the Italians and scored pretty quickly, too. Italy gassed. I think they're starting to feel it a little bit. Momentum has shifted. The kick has also gone over from Crowley, making the score 17 points to 10. Cormac is a Chukwu. That was his last impact on the game as they now make Nick Timoney as the man making his way on. Always good to see you early on a Saturday morning, Hamish. Thanks, as always, for this. Says Justin, no worries at all. We've got plenty more coming in the near future. We've got that match taking place in an hour's time between Scotland and England. Should be, hopefully, an absolutely incredible one. But the replacement hooker on the field now for Italy as well. They were trying to leave the subs late, and that is going to be another ball stolen by Ireland off the loose ball. And the line out from the Italians. Backline movement, quick hands now. Once again, Jamie Osborne going for the kick in behind. Looking for a 50-22. This one bouncing back infield. Monty Ioane there to clean it up. Looks like he was considering a kick. He's under pressure. Puts it back across. They're offloading all over the place here for the Italians, and they manage to get the kick away with Mononcello. But brilliant pressure from Ireland as the kick goes only about 15 out from the Italian line. Do we see Prendergast against England next week? It would be a bold call, I would say, but maybe they're trying to find a way of getting Crowley as an impact player off the bench rather than starting, but I don't know if that's the tactic. Ireland showing the world how they decline can happen so fast, they'll be worried playing the Welsh, although the game has completely changed in just the last 3 or so minutes. Great Jerry, someone not even playing top tier club rugby over his friends at the old folks home. Go watch him, says Kerr. Yeah, there's really not the drastic changes, is there? Right. It's going to be Federico Ruza making his way on too. And the Irish are stronger now, says Sebastian. Where's all the Irish hate now? Chat has gone quiet. Come on, the boys in green, says Stephen. Yeah, they're 1 try away from a bonus point here, Ireland. And they're 15 metres away from getting it. Now, big collision there, Caelan Doris. That looked a little bit high from Federico Ruza. But Doris keeps on driving his legs and keeps this one moving towards the goal line. 10 metres out from the line. Gibson Park goes back across to James Ryan. Gibson Park again. Nice stepping, change of direction there from Gary Ringrose, who tried to go right up the middle of the field. Away to the left, looping around. Crowley with a short ball to Osborne. Can Italy stop this Irish side? It seems like they're scrambled defence at the moment. They're having to work extremely hard. That's going to be another advantage. Gibson Park with the cross kick attempt, and it will go straight to Italy, but the penalty 5 metres out from the try line now awarded. Timo getting a new house in Dublin for that forward call. Basically won the game for them, says Mike. And we have got the Irish Alpha mailing them, says Sebastian. And we have got the yip, and that counts for is a Chukwu. And there is going to be the shot called from Ireland. Strategic to take this lead out a little bit further. Although it wasn't the build-up of that Italian try that Doris didn't win the penalty in the breakdown, right? They ended up giving it as play on, and then Italy took that quick throw. And it's good, says Sebastian. And we have got there, however, Andy told them, or whatever Andy told them at halftime is kicking in. Says so. Jack Crowley, he's sitting 1 from 1 today off the kicking tee. Prendergast was 0 from 2 at that stage. 20-10, says Sebastian, and it's good once again. Try not to spoil it, or else you will probably end up getting timed out by one of the mods. As Crowley now just lines up the kick. And that one does go over. 20 points to 10 now. And he had a big talk with the TMO, says Mike. Doesn't look happy though, Andy Farrell, at all in this scenario. 20 points to 10, the way that it currently sits. And shifting to the Irish, says Ruth. Yeah, they've fully taken momentum now. And in terms of the odds, Italy are now... 1 second. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. I clicked on the World Cup. In play at the moment, Italy are $18 underdogs now. They were $2.50 at half time. James against Bark and Crowley. Start always, it's easy. Yeah, it's changed this game. And also Tyg Furlong as well to a certain extent. Those guys being out there has completely shifted momentum, although that rolling maul is going to be held up by the Italians. The ball is trapped in there, and it will be an Italian scrum about 25 metres out from the line. Interesting point. This is the first time in the living memory Murrayfield has not sold out for an England game for VIP packages and hospitality. So a lot of regular seating available as well. You see, this round of the Six Nations has had quite a hit in attendance, hasn't it? I know that France versus Wales has also not been sold out. But, it's surprising, isn't it? Because Scotland have a very good record up against England in the recent years. So you would think everyone would be flocking to the stadium. But I think it's just people aren't happy with how that side's being run at the moment. And we have got there, too bloody cold up there, says Eric. Now, 16 minutes remaining. Italy have the 10 points, the Irish have the 20. If Italy score now, still on for young and old. I think this game is done. Italy look gassed out. Says Sebastian, and taking out Prendergast, shifted momentum. Absolutely. It was instant too. And to be fair, before that change, and I feel bad for Craig Casey, but as soon as he went off, Gibson Park came on, and straight away the attack looked dangerous again. So I think they just had the best 9 and 10 combo that they could have gone with in this game coming off the bench. I think it's getting to the stage people won't go until they act on the coaching comedy, says Kerr. Ball's fed in now, Italy. They have had a dominant scrum throughout this contest, and they will win another one. Furlong was lifted off the ground. He was up vertically and floating for that scrum. That is a huge push from the Italians. Furlong Airways, yeah, he was up and out. Look how high he is. He's about 1.5 meters in the air for Tyg Furlong. What's he supposed to do up there? I've never seen a scrum like that. I don't even think I've seen a scrum like that when we've seen a lower ranked side face a high ranked side. I don't think I've ever seen someone get that high off the ground in a scrum situation. Normally they collapse or they go backwards, but I think also James Ryan was kind of holding on to him to try and stop him from going down, and in doing so lifted him. Oh. Italy have taken on the 3 points here. I don't know if that's the choice. You know, you've lost all momentum. You've got to play the game down this end of the field and get a try to have a really good chance. Garbisi, he does get it over. It gives them a bonus point. But I thought from the way that we've seen this Italian side going that they would have been a bit aggressive. You know, absolutely gone for it. Maybe they're looking for that draw. Maybe they're feeling the Irish ill discipline could hurt them in the end. Just got off work. I don't understand why the score. I don't understand why they score is 5-7. Says Subasiso. You got to skip forward, Subasiso. It's currently 20 points to 13. He'll see this in about an hour and a half and go, oh yeah. We have there coming Italy, says Joe. Bob Prendergast, I really have high hopes for the boy. Says so. But now, this one's kicked downfield. Italy will take this ball inside of their 22. Big tackle made on Odiati. Being told to use it here. And there is another change that has also happened for this Italian side. They have taken off Alejandro Garbisi and the replacement in this scenario. They brought on Alejandro Garbisi, replacing Alejandro Fusco. And need to drop more lengths to players. Also, Dogbo needs to be brought on. Get Ryan off, says James. And Ireland still winning this, says Clack. Well, they've got themselves a line-out chance here. Call from Tom O'Toole, who just made his way on the field for Jeremy Luckman. I'd love to be somewhere where the Geordie is 3 degrees Celsius. Says Kip. Thrown in. Over the top. Italy managed to take the line out. The mistake made there. That is actually the first line out that they have lost throughout this game for the Irish. That now makes it 9-1. Now flinging past from Alejandro Garbisi. I wasn't lying when I said the Irish have astronauts in the front row. Back across. Garbisi goes to Garbisi. Polo, the second Garbisi to touch that one. Why can't I get transcript on their channel? Is it because AutoScript doesn't understand your accent? No, I think sometimes on certain live streams it waits till afterwards to be able to put it. But yeah, hopefully the pronunciation of names is close enough that you know roughly what's going on. Crowley passes off to James Ryan. Ball there for Ireland again. They are still one try away from the bonus point. Robert Balakoon, tackled by Monty Ioane. So much to improve in Ireland. Can't Ireland kick over? Says Mahi. Then they might look at a three-pointer if it's available. But I also think if they're looking at the Six Nations as a possibility, they do need the 5 points from this game. Gives him Park. He's looking for the kick in behind. Sees a bit of open space. Italy leaving that a little bit too much. That's a brilliant kick from Gibson Park, exposing a gap that the Italians left. Now 5 metres out from the line, an Italian side that have lost 2 lineouts will be under immense pressure now to get this one right. Game taking place between England and Scotland, ladies and gentlemen, is only around 50 minutes away. In fact, I think it's less than that. It is 50 minutes. And we're going to be starting that live stream, and that means 25 minutes time, starting at 4:15 for that game. Plenty to talk about from this competition, Jameson Gibson Park class. Yeah, absolutely. And that was almost stolen and line out time, but it is taken by the Italians running off the back. Zuliani looking to get this one out just that little bit further to be able to go for that kick downfield. And Ireland is pumping them hard. Italy did have me going for a while. Even if they lose, I'll still be happy they had a fight. Yeah, I think Italy would be more than happy with, we mentioned about it actually at the start of the game, a losing bonus point here for Italy would be massive. But now James Lowe is trying to get that winning bonus point for the Irish. Gibson Park uses quickly. Crowley, beautiful pass on the outside. Goes to Gary Ringrose. It's ruled as forward. So that's 1-1 now for the forward pass department. Crowley not happy about it. But it was close. To be right, Adogbo, he will make his way on. This is an Irish debut for that man. At 19, he makes his way on for James Ryan. I think if Crowley had started this game, it would have been a handy win. Have Byrne come off, says James. But a big opportunity for Adogbo. Massive unit in that locking duo. Another scrum for Ireland to lose, says Southkid. Yeah, they definitely want to avoid those scrums. We haven't actually had a replay of that forward pass either. That was just ruled. Normally that's the first thing that we do get to see. But 3 tries to the 1. Italy only down by the 7. We have got there now. See the difference with the Adogbo. Says James. Come on, England, says Sebastian. In there too. Lorenzo Pani has carried for 91 metres from 10 carries. 18 metres made. Or 18 metres clear of Monty Ioane, who has made 73 metres. That's the info stat that they've just chucked up on the screen. Come on, Italy, says Peter. Front row collapsing at scrum time, so it will be another reset. This all uses up valuable time off the clock. Already up to 70.5 minutes in this game. Okay, so it's the guys on the near side that are just getting a little bit of the warning. And Italy steal it, says Ruth. Yeah, see, the thing is, the draw is still well and truly on here. Did someone have a draw, not last Six Nations, the Six Nations prior, was it? That we saw the draw take place. Come on, Peter, says Stephen. And come on, Italy, give us a win or a draw at least, says Roger. And whose ball it is, the Italian scrum feet. And Ellison has said, come on, Italy. Okay, we're already hearing people going ref before the scrum has taken place. Big push there from the Irish. Much stronger scrum, but Italy still end up with the ball. The back of it. Now Italy moving away to the left-hand side. Apollo Garbisi, Sal's the dummy, jumping straight in there. They lose the footing. At least the guts aren't pulling their weight. You reckon Italy could win the Six Nations in the next 10 years? I think with the way that they'll be starting this Six Nations, they definitely have a decent chance. Good news is they've got a lot of good young players coming through as well for the Italians. Garbisi, I should say. Kicks that one high. James Lowe well taken under the high ball. Gives it off to Jack Crowley. Tries to get it off. Oh, great take from Adogbo. Now ball's still there for the Italians. I think I called him Adogbo rather than Adogwu. We've got both of them playing in this matchup. The Italians 40 metres out from Ireland's line. Across still down by the 7. It's either going to be a late tail in this tape where we see the Italians come back in, and that is a nice run on the short side. Oh, that was close to a 4-pass 2 to Adogwu. Back across to the left. With the field. Big hard carry from Favretto. Okay, they have said there no penalty in the breakdown due to lying on him. I'm curious to know what Italy would do here if they get a penalty advantage, though. Whether or not they would go for a 3 or whether they would go for the 7 now. Look to be aggressive. Looks like a little bit of a stinger there on the knee. Oh, it might have actually been Jack Crowley. Oh, no, it's actually number 13, Ringrose. Dealing with a bit of a limp currently, cutting back inwards, low tackle made. Doris, now another offload on the cards there for the Italians, nicely taken by Pani. Lewis Liner plays half, 22 metres out. Polo Garbisi goes to a Dogwu. Dogwu is a big unit, he is indeed, yes, and has got that power to match as well. Oh, dragged down Mohammed Hassar. This is good defence at the moment from Ireland, but 7 minutes is a long time to have to try and deal with this. On defence, Caelan Doris in the breakdown, over the ball, doesn't get the penalty. Dogwu, wrestled down by James Lowe, as well as Jack Conan. Back across again, Favoretto goes to Spagnolo. They don't get the turnover. Back into the pocket. Polo Garbisi up and under here. They felt they weren't going for. Balakoon tries to go for the ball. It's going to be knocked back for Ireland. And Gibson Park there to clean it up. Boots it way downfield. And Ireland survive the Italian onslaught. And Italians a puff says power bite. You got your predictions in for this weekend. I haven't really given a huge amount of predictions this week, mainly because I got that Sevens game right. And now from there I'm too scared to give a prediction because I often get it wrong now. And Dogwu was a big unit. And also forward pass there's Ruth. Okay, Holly Davidson's just told Caelan Doris she couldn't give him that penalty because she didn't see it clear. Or see the clear. And that breakdown. It looked very close to being Doris's ball. Now Italy, they have got themselves their line out. Do you predict the Super Games right? Not really, no. I think I said the Crusaders would win it. I did pick the Waratahs, I believe, in their game up against the Reds. I didn't pick Moana Pacifica, so I got like 1 right of the weekend, maybe 2. Now going back across to the left-hand side, advantage there for the Italians. A knock on, but 5 minutes remaining, and they have got the penalty. 45 metres out on the angle. And Elliot's now or never. Dogwu keeps overrunning the pass. That's an issue. Says power bite. Right. Big choice for the Italians. Do you go corner for the draw or do you go post for the potential win later? It looks like the corner is the option. Last time they went corner, they actually lost the line out for the Italians. Gains Moana. I'll be good next week. Yeah, hopefully he ends up being very competitive. And I do think that Moana, with the fact that they were able to beat the Fijian draw, you know, they'll go into that game with that little bit of confidence. The Hurricanes losing 29-0 in preseason for their most recent game. So even though it's preseason, that's not what you want as your memory the last time you were on the field. How many minutes? Still another 5 minutes remaining here. 20 points to 13 at the moment, the way that this one sits. Currently has the ball. Italy do 20 metres out from the Irish line. Oh, Water Boys are on the field now. Looks like currently they are helping out Gary Ringrose, though, who was limping earlier on. Some heavy strapping going on to that knee. Looks like now a Dogbo is going to get... Oh, no, sorry, a Dogwu it was. Mononcello, he's going to get some drinks as well. We don't talk about the 29-0 Greta Townsend tribute game, says Kerr. And can Italy win, says Mohadeen. Maybe. They've still got 4.5 minutes. 4.5 minutes is a long time. Definitely with the penalties that we're seeing. You checking the cricket score at all? The last I heard, they were 6 down for a bit. But, yeah, I haven't seen anything as of late. But I'm sure someone will say it at some point. If not, then I'll probably end up watching the rest of it after that England versus Scotland game. Come on, Italy, you can do it, says Inquisitor. They've kicked this one into touch. 20 metres out from the line. The knees are all strapped up. The players are all ready to go here. Final moments of this game. The Italians got it in them. The throw is good. Nicely taken by Federico Ruza. Alejandro Garbisi. That is an interesting choice and it would have worked. There was a chip in behind. Mononcello was right there and he dropped the ball. They'll go back for the initial knock-on from Manoncello. But it looked like it was going to go straight to one of the Irish players in the back, but no. There was the gap open for Alejandro Garbisi, and that is such a crucial moment there. Manoncello just not able to bring it in. He's caught absolutely everything else throughout this game. The bounce of the ball, though, just gets behind him. He didn't even really look like he tried to catch it that much for Manoncello. But that could have been the huge moment, as it would have been a try between the posts. Rogers 85 for 1. Says Cameron there. And crawl bounce, says Duncan. And Dogbo and the scrum Ireland push well, says James. Well, they have got a scrum that is very important to win now. Currently only 5 metres out from their try line. If they get a penalty, they can reprieve some of that pressure. This game, it is currently close. I will mention last year it was close between Italy and Ireland too, wasn't it? Maybe we'll get that score while we're waiting for the scrum to take place. It's going to be claimed by Ireland. No penalty advantage in their favour for that one. Now kick downfield from Jameson gives the Park a decent exit. 22-17. Ireland beat Italy last year. So they were separated by 5 points in that last Six Nations. And the end finishing with the 19 points in total from the Six Nations comp. Wickets needed by the Kiwis, says M. Ellison. And Satnav's pretty good. We ought to watch out, says Lyle. And isn't it good to see a close game with Italy rather than it being a blowout score? Absolutely. And now 2 weeks in a row that Italy have had really close games, which hopefully, if they were somehow able to do it next week, that's going to be now a loose ball. I think it's been called as play on, in fact. So it's going to be picked up by Jamie Osborne under pressure from Polo Garbisi, who hit him a little bit high. 2 metres out from the line. Ireland keep this ball. You have to hope Italy get at least 3 points. So the score reflects the game a bit better. Worst outcome be a last-minute Ireland try and having a flattering scoreline. See, if Ireland get any form of points, which of course they will be chasing that 7, like you said, Italy to leave this game with 0 would be pretty disappointing in terms of the overall Six Nations table. The scoreline, though, I think they thoroughly deserve at least 1 point for how they've played here, and they've got a chance to take more than one with Monty Ioane trying to run it up the middle. 90 seconds remaining. I don't think Ireland are going to have an opportunity to add the extra try, and they may actually just take the win if they get to the 80th minute and manage to get the steal. But for now, the last 5 minutes has been all Italy in possession. Currently, Italy 30 metres out from the line. Alejandro Garbisi goes across there to Mohamed Hassar. Now Garbisi uses quickly, finds a Dogwu, passes on the outside. That's great hands from Polo Garbisi as the pass was behind him. Still going back and forth here for the Italians. And the other question is, no advantage going against a Dogwu. Holly Davison said no, a Dogwu pulled out of it. A Dogbo it was. And then she still gave the advantage. So this is the chance now. Penalty awarded. Right. What do you do if you're Italy? Do you go for the corner and go for a win? For the draw? You have to, don't you? In this scenario, I'd like to think that Ireland would not go for a full field try in this scenario. Advantage for following what the ref said. Yeah, she said, don't touch it. He went, okay, sorry. And then she went, advantage. And we have got there whose ball, says Mohadin. It's currently in the hands of the Italians. 12 seconds remaining on the clock here, ladies and gentlemen. And Garbisi, what's just happened? The kick was in field. It hits Balakoon and bounces into touch, which I believe is still counted as a kick into touch here. We're going to see it. So Balakoon was in field. It hits him. That's not full time, though, I think, technically due to the laws. But now Italy, a chance to try and take a draw here. But he actually got hit in the field of play. Then the ball bounced out. And Italy now 6 metres out from the try line, looking to have a bit of a miracle at the Aviva, although it wouldn't be quite a miracle because of the fact that they have played, some would argue, the better rugby throughout this match. Now Adogbo looks for the steal and the breakdown. Told to get out of it once more. Moving away to the right. They need to score this one below the sticks, although Garbisi has been strong off the tee. Big tackle made by Timony. Now back across, one drop ball here and it is over for the Italians. But one big moment here, and it could completely change this game. A Dogbo over the ball, doesn't get it again. Now passed across, Favoretto, big driving tackle made. But it's still in the hands of the Irish. In fact, no, Italy have it, sorry. And there is a knock-on advantage against Ireland here. They're back now near the 22, though. For the Italians, they lost a few metres in the process, but they have not lost this game as of yet. McCluskey makes that next tackle. Passed across Alejandro Garbisi. I believe still under the knock-on advantage. I chose draw on the pole, says how's it? Now back across, Polo Garbisi, thought about the wide pass, low tackle made from Gibson Park, almost on the ball, can't reach it there for Tom O'Toole. Favoretto goes back across, Monty Ioane running sideways, James Lowe steals it, he's taken a risk, he's decided he wants to try and run the full length of the field, he should have kicked it out, as now this game will continue. They want the bonus point though here, Ireland, and they are chasing to try and get it. They've got the chance out wide. This is going to be heartbreak for the Italians. Timony running down the wing, but the game's still not over. Italy take the ball back. There's a penalty to Ireland, who now have the chance to secure the bonus point if they kick it for the corner and they go over. It's such a positive for rugby as a whole, having Italy playing this way. It's been an insane game, that is for sure, but this is going to be a brutal moment. It wasn't their advantage. Italy knock-on advantage. So it would have been the end of the game in that scenario had they gone back for it. But James Lowe, bet you he wished he was about 15 kilometres quicker in that scenario. Right, the time is off. But 83 minutes down in this contest. It's a steal and a half from James Lowe. He puts down the foot. I thought when he was getting close to being caught, he may have considered just booting that ball into touch and saying we'll take the win. But obviously the mindset for Ireland is get the bonus point. Italy got greedy in the breakdown, hands down from Manoncello, and the penalty was awarded to the Irish. It was desperation from Italy, but they needed that moment to try and get back into this game. You can see how gutted they were when that penalty went against them. But now, James Lowe off that big run. The Irish, they will kick this one into the corner off Crowley. The corner off of Crowley. 5 metres out from their line. I'm sorry? Jack Crowley has kicked the ball dead going for the corner. That's the end of the game. He's kicked it dead. He was 5 metres out from the line. How do you kick it dead? 5 metres out. You kick it sideways. It's right there. Well, Italy get the bonus point, ladies and gentlemen. Ireland do not. Weird finish. Extremely strange finish to this game. Nice on Ireland, you beauties. Ignore all the haters, says Richard. How could it not be advantage? We lost ground from the advantage point, says Villiers. So if they had gone back for it, it would have ended the same score anyway. A weird game, but congrats, Ireland. Classic finish, says I Lollipop. So yeah, they went the full length of the field to try and get that bonus point. I think James Lowe is now confused. I think everyone's confused. Jack Crowley, that is a moment that he will want to forget very quickly, I would say. But it's a pretty good game of rugby between these two teams in terms of closeness. Italy have improved a lot in the last 18 months. They absolutely haven't. And the bonus point, I feel like they deserved it from the way that they played throughout this game. Disallowed try, ref. Or disallowed try, definitely a turning point, says Kerr there. And Crowley wants to that point to the pub. I mean, they were up to 83 minutes. Maybe they were just sick of the game, but no. I think Crowley's just spooned that one off the side of the boot. Man of the match is Robert Ballacoon. I would have given it to McCluskey. If I'm being honest, I think McCluskey had a really underrated game in that number 12 jersey. Ballacoon, he did a few things right. I definitely would have had him up there in terms of top 3, but I think McCluskey has gone very underappreciated for this game. But one thing that wasn't underappreciated was that Irish bench. The momentum changed when they made their way on, and the Italians, in the last 5 minutes or so, they were all over it. Game is over, bro. Catch up. Says Clapwell at the moment, it says it's finished on the screen. We've talked about the fact that the game's over. So I'm confused. We have got there what a finish, says Ruth. And is he happy now? Says Mahadina. You're talking about Crowley? I think he'll be a bit annoyed. The fact that he got it wrong. We have got there, I'm guessing the Irish pundits won't be blaming Naneba this week. Says Samuel. And we have got there, man of the match is Irish luck, prove me wrong. Dogbo showed why Farrell hasn't picked him until now. Sloan only contributed errors. Gibson Park did all right. Says Big Rig. And Italy deserved the win, Ireland are bad. Only saved them. Was that disallowed try, says Paul. And man of the match, the TMO, says Mike. And there as well. But nonetheless, that is the end of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. We have got, fun fact, 5 minutes until the next stream. We are doing a 25-minute build-up for that Scotland versus England match, which I'm kind of happy about now because there's going to be plenty to talk about from this game as well as the upcoming matches of the Six Nations comp. So yeah, 5 minutes away from the next stream. Be sure to tune in for that one. And yeah, thank you all very much for watching. And we will see you all for the next one. Plus, Wales versus France. Going to be taking place that little bit later on tomorrow as well. But thanks all for watching. See you all for the next one.